Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin. I will call the meeting of the Select Board on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 to order at 4:44 p.m. Sorry for the technical delay. Roll call.
Veronica Cal present.
Barry Goodrich present. And Laura Schifrin present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to thank all of our veterans, as well as all of our military serving here and abroad, as well as all of our emergency response people and public safety people. We've had a tough week here. And I just want you all to know how much we appreciate your volunteerism to doing the jobs that you do. Also thank our staff and all of our elected and appointed officials, as well as their families, for making this a better community to live in. The meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Is anyone else recording?
Yes.
Thank you, Cindy. Additions or deletions? I do not have any.
Yeah.
Okay. 1.5, review and approve the meeting minutes of February 24th, 2026 and February 25th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Valerie Goodrich move to approve the meeting minutes for February 24th, 2026 and February 25th, 2026.
Is there any discussion?
Well, Veronica Cal second. And for discussion, the only thing I have, and maybe you guys already have noted it to Sabrina, they call our TA Meehan all the way through.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you are Meehan.
All right.
But I don't know, maybe they could say Mr. Meehan, or they could say.
That's my father.
Well, okay.
For a while, they were calling me Goodrich for a while. So.
Yeah. So that's the
I'm
only.
pretty sure that's
comment I have.
AI.
Yeah.
Oh, it
And,
is. It absolutely
perhaps you
is.
could make a correction there. I noticed a lot of edits as far as, again, grammar, capitalizing shouldn't be capitalized, stuff like that. So I did those on both, but other than that, I didn't see. Well, yes, I did see a motion that was made and seconded, but no vote
Mhm.
when we had the joint meeting. So I did point that out, but apparently I was told if it's not there, there wasn't one. So I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. It was in the joint meeting of capital planning. And
Did you watch the recording?
I didn't watch it after I was told that that's what it was. So anyway, that's the only thing I saw.
Was that on the 24th? So it'd be the 24th. Yeah.
Which meeting? The 24th?
The 24th.
Do you want to just do the 25th and we'll do the 24th next time so we can look into that?
Yeah,
we
let's
want
do that.
We want votes to be recorded properly.
Correct.
Because the minutes are the record.
That is correct.
Hey,
So,
I'm good with that, so I'm glad that I told you that.
so do you want to amend the motion?
Yeah, I would amend the motion to only include the meeting minutes for February 26th.
And I will second that amendment.
I actually, it actually was in the, closing, of that portion of the joint meeting.
It was a vote to adjourn.
Yeah.
I'll check. I can check in on it.
Okay. All right. So the motion has been amended to just approve February 25th, 2026 at this point in time. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote to approve February 25th, 2026 minutes.
Veronica Cal,
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Okay. So 224 will go to March 10th.
Got it.
Thank you. Okay. On number 2, we do not have any appointments or hearings. And number 3, we do not have any appointments of any officials. And under 4.1, Karen.
4.1, we have John Scavone here from Earthlight to quickly talk to us about the EV charging station at the Senior Center Library parking lot. John's just going to give a few moments and share, what Earthlight does, sort of the EV charging station and some of the makeup of their side of the table, if you will. And then if we are excited and want me to further pursue this, we can go from there. John, are you still with us? John?
John?
He may be stuck on a call. I'll nudge him to ask to unmute. Maybe that's the trigger. I'll give him one more second and I'll make sure I know I told him about it. So. Well, in general, he was going to touch on, what Earthlight does in terms of their investigation related to the grant process for the town. And also, hey, John, how are you? Nope.
Yeah, no.
No. So Earthlight was just going to.
Hi, I'm here. Sorry, for whatever reason, it was not working. I just refreshed my browser and now it's allowing me to work. So technology is wonderful.
We understand we're having our own issues here with technical, so go ahead.
So you got a few minutes here to share with what's going on?
Yeah, if I can share my screen, I have a little presentation. I'll be very brief, quick, informative, and like Kieran said, you guys can use that information to do with it what you will.
Yeah. TCAM, are you okay with Mr. Scavone sharing his screen for a moment?
Yep, give me a second.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're down in Connecticut, right, John?
Yep.
Just rain down there right now, or how's it going for you?
Yeah,
guys?
I mean, my wife's a teacher, and they pretty much canceled every school in the state of Connecticut, and we had an inch of snow that didn't even stick. So
yeah, little different for us. We're getting it now, so you're welcome.
Oh, you are? Okay.
You should be able to share right now.
Okay, let me see if I have the option somewhere. I don't see the option to share anywhere.
Down at the bottom.
It should be down at the bottom, right? Green little arrow.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but Kieran, I did send you the proposal. So maybe you want to pull it up or set the PowerPoint and I'll just, talk through it.
I don't know why, but I have share screen on mine.
I like this. We're having a fun day.
Well,
I don't think you want me to share my screen either, but
Security. Yeah, I'm not.
Wonder if Dave gave it to you instead of John.
I would like to think I'm very technically literate, but yeah, I just don't see anything right now.
yeah, it's on. He gave it to me for some reason.
No,
Huh.
no, it's right on here. It says his name, co-host. So
Wow.
I can try toggling it and see what happens, but no.
Yeah, I've got the green arrow share screen on the bottom of mine. I don't think I would have that if I didn't have the authority.
True, but well,
I do see that I'm a co-host. Oh, you are. Okay.
Here we go.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'll just tell you next. I'll be 5-10 minutes. I'll get through it. So real quick, so you can just go to the next slide. I am actually JJ Energy Solutions. I'm just an independent consultant. Basically, I've been doing this for over 15 years. I started my own company where I work with a bunch of contractors. I know a lot of things. And I'm kind of a middleman where the contractor pays me directly and I look for opportunities, kind of a salesman for hire kind of thing. So you can go to the next slide. Next slide. Yeah. Go back. Sorry. So the contracting partner I selected is Earthlight Technologies. They're one of the largest EV installers for National Grid. The locations that we looked at were, as he mentioned, the library, senior center, the town hall. I have community center that should have been updated, but it's also the police station. So we can go to the next slide. So what we've done, I've completed walkthroughs. I've selected a contractor. We put together LOIs, and kind of met with Kieran to identify the sites. Basically, there's a $50,000 grant that's available for each municipal owned property in order to install EV. There are a few exclusions of what counts towards that grant, which you'll see in upcoming slides. But basically, we are at a point where we have initial engineering studies done, and have a good idea of what these projects should cost, and what the grant should be in order to install them. So next slide. Real quick, this is what the EV charger looks like. If you know anything about EVs, there's level 1s, 2s, and 3s. 3s are super fast. They're super expensive. Level 1s are typically for home. They're very slow. Level 2s are in between. And then you have level 2s that range from 6 kWs to 20 kWs. The bigger the number, the faster they are. You can go to the next slide. Basically, this is the fastest level 2 on the market that we can get you for the application without getting into multi-$100,000 products and capital expenses for the town. So next charger. Or next slide. Next slide. Yeah, this is basically what the project looks like right now. You can see the total cost. You can see the grant covered about 96% of the overall project. So that's what we were able to accomplish in order to get an EV charger installed at the 3 mentioned sites. Next slide. Real quick, I have one.
1 second, John.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note for our financial purposes, I think we were most interested in the library senior center sort of rear parking lot. So I don't know if we're the full scope of all 3 sites per se, but just for your own knowledge, and if that refines the numbers and costs for the town as well. So, but I'll let you keep going, just to throw that out there to the audience who are listening. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, basically, that overall cost out of pocket is about $5,200.
Okay.
So should be able to achieve that site. That's the worst case scenario, and I'll get into kind of what that means, moving forward. So real quick, this is the town hall. That's where the charger would be installed. This is basically a preliminary engineering drawing of how we get there. Next slide. Here's the library senior center. You can see what we're doing is we're pulling from a power line, trenching across the open ground and installing it on the back of the parking lot, which is the most infrequently used area, which would be the best case scenario and the most cost effective area in order to install it. So since this is the one you were kind of most interested in, is there any questions about the installation, that location, before we move forward?
Yeah.
Sure, Veronica.
My question is, you showed us the picture of the level 2 charger and that it looked like 2 vehicles. Is this
Correct.
just a single vehicle or is it 2 vehicles? Because they looked like they were nose to nose.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is 2 vehicles, two vehicles, two ports.
And where would those vehicles, in the picture of the town hall, where is the charger and where are the 2 vehicles? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
The 2 next to each other. So they're side by side as opposed to nose to nose.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. Sorry, I'm moving quickly for your guys' sake. If I'm moving too quickly, just let me know.
Okay. Can I ask another question?
Yes.
Sure.
This backs up to the very beginning of your presentation. You said that they were an installer for National Grid. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have National Grid, right?
Oh, excuse me, for Unitil. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay, thank you. I feel better.
There's only three power companies. I had a 33% chance of getting it right. My apologies.
Every now and then.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I propose to so many towns, and it's National Grid and Eversource are kind of the ones that are in my head most of the time. So I apologize.
Fair enough. Appreciate that.
And you can see on each location design, you can kind of see an area that's striped in between the two spaces. That's because we have to have, in order for you to get the grant, these have to be ADA handicap accessible. So that's what you see there is these are handicap accessible locations.
Okay.
I do like that for the accessibility for purposes. That's a nice win. So.
And of all the locations we looked at, this one is by far the most, future-proofing site where you can definitely land and expand at this site just because of the number of spots, and the location in general. So, just wanted to share that information.
So where does the electricity come from? I can't read the words on this picture.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I sent this presentation, so I'm sure Kieran can forward it around if you want to look at it in more depth. But for this, one of the most expensive costs that come with installing EV is excavation, trenching. So in order for us to, if we were to run it off of the existing power in the building, it would be trenching it through a lot of asphalt. So what we're able to do is there's a power line over there. The utility pays for a transformer to go on there. We run power directly from that transformer that's up on the pole. We trench through only a little bit amount of dirt, grass, which is much cheaper. And that's essentially where the power comes from. So you will have your own meter. So it'll be a new, Unitil meter number and a bill that comes from this. And then obviously you have the charging that offsets that cost, which actually benefits you more because then this is by far your biggest user of all the buildings. So you have a better rate when it's EV only. So, I mean, basically the state has money. They have a land they have 20, 30 carbon goals, and they're trying to hit that with EV. And what does, what's all over the state is individual towns. So they're hoping that they can get if you build it, they will come mentality to try to get as many towns, to adopt EV charging as possible. And then hopefully that trickles into people buying EVs. So next slide just shows the police station. That's where it would be installed, or we could certainly do it on the back side, under the solar canopy or whatever. This is just more of the visitor spots. So, you wouldn't be having someone park down where the police cars are. And as you can see it, there's very few spots in general. You are allowed to have, they can be mixed use. So it doesn't have to be for EV only. We can have a sign up and it just says, EV or parking. Most people that come to the police station probably hope they're not there for a long time. So hopefully they are, they are open. But it's, again, you have free money. I think this one's only like $100 out of pocket, to install it. So there's free money out there. And as long as the property is municipally owned, it qualifies for that grant.
That's what his proposal was. Yeah. We were just asking. So again, your initial scope was for the 3 locations. Are we able to reduce down to just one if we wanted to, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. This is just kind of the where the initial conversation started.
Yeah, that's right.
So the cost here, though, is for the 3 or the 1?
Yeah, the 52,228 was for one location, right, John?
That was for the library. Yeah, that had the most cost just because of the trenching that was involved. The outdoor electrical infrastructure that had a larger cost and everything else. So we exceeded the $50,000 grant amount. Now, what we showed you was the worst case scenario. Obviously what we have now is letter of intents for you to sign should you want to move forward. That is not an additional contract. That's not the full contract. We'll come out there and we'll do or Earthlight will do the, all in engineering study, testing ground soil and, everything that's required of them, speaking with the utility to solidify the numbers. Best case scenario is, after that engineering study, that final engineering study, they're able to do it cheaper. They'll write that contract up expressing that cheaper cost. And then you can move forward with that. Worst case is they come back and they say, hey, an example would be if they find out that everything, under the grass at the senior center is bedrock and it's going to be so expensive to trench that it probably wouldn't be worth, your money. You have the ability to even opt out of that site. So, there's only so much work any contractor is willing to do before there's skin in the game, that's my business value proposition and why I partner with contracts. So I go out and do all this initial work for free. And then once someone says, I'm kind of interested, then and I can qualify them to that point, then they go out and do all their work. So as you see here, the next step would be sign a letter of intent. We finalize our engineering, we review it, and then we submit your application.
At what point do you need funds from the town, John? Like, do you need a $5,200 check potentially now or a $1,000 check? Where true skin in the game, if you will, at what point in the process?
That's a good question. The skin in the game is $1,000 per site. So if you do one site, that would be $1,000 deposit. Okay. That's for us to go out there and they'll do that 100% engineering study, everything that needs to be black and white in terms of how things get done from, excavating and electrical stuff. And then should everything work out, which I do this all the time, the site looks pretty clean. Should everything work out, that $1,000 just gets credited towards the overall project cost. Then what happens is they do the install, they carry all the costs. Once it's commissioned, which means it's up and running and it's turned on and working, the EVIP program will send you guys a check. Once you get that check, then they'll have their terms of probably 30 days to collect that money from you.
Okay. So I think
the idea is to make it have it be as advantageous as possible for a town's cash flow.
Yeah. I think for the board purposes is, I think you sent at least a few of those letters to us, John, right? Letters of intent. I see Valerie.
I sent you 3, one for each site, so you can review those. And if you have any questions, certainly let me know, or I can put you in contact with Earthlight directly.
Yeah. So I think for the board purposes for consideration is if you were interested, you could say, Kieran, we want you to pursue, checking a letter of intent with, town council to make sure it's something that's okay for the town first and foremost. It's always prudent to do that. It doesn't sound like it's going to be anything. It sounds pretty boilerplate to me. So it sounds like JJ Energy Solutions and Earthlight have worked with other municipalities in the area. But again, as a cautious person, I would always encourage us to have legal counsel review things just to be cautious. And then otherwise, we could say, if it checks with town council, this could be signed, next meeting or, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, whatever day we've had Adam, the time to review it. If that's the path you want me to go.
Comments?
And I know one audience member had a hand up, but I don't know. I don't know if it was Cindy or who it was, but.
In the SharePoint, I see only the proposal for the senior center. I'd like to see the one for town hall.
Okay, I can email those along. I only did those because I think most people were interested in senior center, I thought.
I'm interested in both.
Okay.
I am not interested in the police station.
Okay.
But I think that putting one here would allow someone to charge and walk into the center and do whatever.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of one on 13, one on 119.
Yeah. There are no other charging stations, and maybe John, I think Valerie, there's no other charging station in town for public access. So if you're here for a hike and you've got a Nissan Leaf and you need to charge it after hiking all day and also get some food, this might be a nice,
It's also proximity to the rail trail
Mhm.
here. So I like, if we're gonna do it, I'd go for,
Library Senior
Those two.
Center is nice because people, if you're heading from New Hampshire to Massachusetts,
Yes.
you can stop and work and charge.
yeah.
yeah, I like both locations, and I
Yeah.
think we should consider both.
I mean, normally I know I don't have a ton of money, but the grant is almost essentially the entire thing.
It is, yeah, and this, for background, this is a great use of actually using free cash. Like, rather than using it to, get reoccurring costs, this is a one-time cost to the town. It is a true benefit to those that have electric vehicles. I don't, but
Yeah.
many people do.
The
So-
only other question I have is maintenance. I mean, what is
Yeah.
the maintenance for the town going forward for this?
Yeah,
That would
that's-
be my other question.
John, do you have a sense for maintenance? Is it,
It's written in here.
can a plow crew just plow right in front of it? What type of responsibilities and, things to be aware of do we have there?
And who do
Well, we put, I mean, it's required by code. We put, cement bollards in front of it. I don't know if that would stop a plow. So I hope you have, a plow driver knows not to plow through it. That is, you're liable for that. Just like if a plow driver ran into an air conditioning unit, I mean, it's a piece of technology. But we do have, things up. So, if the average person hits the gas rather than the brake accidentally, the bollard is rated to stop the car from, ruining the unit. In terms of the warranty, it's a 3-year warranty. Just if anything happens, they replace it. The contractor themselves offers a 1-year labor warranty. So if anything happens and it dies that first year, they'll come out and replace it for you. I mean, it's like any piece of digital, it's, essentially digital technology, very low failure rates, but if it does, it usually happens quick. If your iPhone's bad, you'll know sooner than later. And then the
Are
only
we responsible for repairing it if in the event 2 years from now, a bus, is it the town's liability or is it the Earthlight's liability to come and get that machine working because it no longer provides service?
Yeah, after a year, any like labor would be on the town. The only real maintenance that you would see is, well, one, you just kind of we'll set the rate for you. There's a software. So you'll see, we'll set it at whatever you want it to be at in terms of what you charge people. If you want to change that, that's on you guys moving forward. The only thing that might happen in the future is you have to replace one of the plugs because you just have someone who's rips it out or does something to it, which that is, a couple $100. Really with the chargers, the most expensive thing is the electrical infrastructure. So that's where 80-90% of the cost comes from.
What's the expected lifetime of the unit?
Over 10 years.
Okay.
Okay, before I entertain any kind of motion, Cindy, did you have a question?
Yes, it's been partially answered, I think, but I still have more question to it. I'm curious about user costs or who's responsible for paying the kilowatt hours use of the machine. And then I know you mentioned that the town could set the rate at whatever they wanted to charge the user. So I'm trying to find the in between there, the more information piece there. Like, so the town would, I'm going to understand that the town would probably be responsible for the electricity used by this piece of equipment. And then we would assess what that would cost, and the select board would set the rate on what we charge the users with. I'm assuming they'd have to get an account. I'm familiar with ChargePoint. I'm not familiar with this setup, but is that set up the same way? And then, but we have to, in order to recoup costs of people using it, we'd have to set a rate that would cover our electric use.
Yeah, I mean, great questions. You know what you're talking about. The difference between ChargePoint and something I didn't mention was ChargePoint will typically put a software fee on the owner of the system. So if you're buying a ChargePoint, you have to pay that subscription, year over year, regardless of who uses it. This is not like that. This is a model, and the reason why I like this company, the software company, is it's actually a rate paid by the person who's charging. So you never,
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of, let's just say your rate is 20 cents per kilowatt hour. You'll charge people 40 cents per kilowatt hour. So, you're covering your cost, and then you're making a little bit of money. I mean, it's not a money making thing. It's more just an amenity, an asset. The world is changing, and this is the way to deploy it. For, like Kieran was saying, for free money. So
Cost.
Yeah, but we don't want to, we're not in a position as a town to lose money, so we have to break even or better just on principle. I like a good ROI just like everybody else. So
yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. It's the more money, the money you make is kind of granted on the speed of the charger, which is why I like to put the fastest level 2 charger in, because obviously that's quicker money, and then people get their car charging quicker. I mean, based on expected out of pocket costs, usually the long term cost is the software. So because there's no software fee, I mean, there really isn't long term liable costs, unless someone hits the system with a plow.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's when you're buying an air conditioner or another piece of building electrical technology, you're not taking that into consideration when you assume things are gonna, no human error.
yeah. Well, thank you, John. You guys can think
Any other
about it for
questions?
another meeting if you wanted to. You don't have to make a decision tonight. I can send along the other
I'd like to
stations,
see the other.
before you make a decision, if you will. If that helps, I can email those along offline. So,
Yep.
I would put this for a vote next meeting.
Next meeting. Okay, cool.
That's what I
Thank you
think.
so much, John.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank you for
John.
the presentation.
Well, I just want to say thank you for letting me go first. I can't tell you how many town select board meetings I've been to, and I'm the last one on the docket, and it's 9 o'clock, and I'm like, what am I doing here? So
You got to wait for that.
yeah, no, I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So yeah, maybe I'll be talking to you next month.
Thanks,
Thanks,
John.
John.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right, 4.2.
Yeah, 4.2. So I'll stop sharing. We'll catch up on this at our next meeting. 4.2, I will bring up our budget. So to give some other context to this, presented with the department heads today, I'll bring that presentation up. That'll be a good segue here. So give me 1 second. Screen share. My technological wizardry today. Huh?
Tap it into the reserves.
Okay. Oh, it's hard to see, but the blue is the requested.
We're doing.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with this presentation first.
Okay.
So I presented this to our department heads today,
Oh,
sort of things that cover right here. As you remember from our FinCom meeting, we have a budget policy that was set in 2017. The town will not balance the budget by using one-time or other non-reoccurring revenues to fund ongoing expenditure. Section 1, page 4. You can see how we've gotten to where we are now. Some heavy free cash usage in the past. I'll let that set in for a moment. We use some ARPA money as well, for reoccurring expenses. That's been a tough practice. So expenses, this is where we're at right now. That presentation doesn't look quite as good as it should. So what's going on there? It's a pie chart. Education is taking the majority of our costs I don't think that's much of a surprise.
That's the way it's been.
Yeah, that's the way it is in most rural communities. Better looking fiscal driver sheet here. School number is actually lower than what was proposed at that budget hearing they had a few weeks past.
So far, they still have to vote on it, the full
Yeah,
school
they
committee.
haven't voted on it in totality.
But it's still greater than what we requested they be at.
Correct.
Well, that 3.99 includes the tech, correct?
It's the full
Yes,
school.
so
It does.
NM is at a number close to what we requested.
2.63.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is actually, I think, what our number was requested, at least ours from that letter,
But-
close to it.
But
I think you guys were 2.4.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
But the tech went up what percentage?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fairly big percentage.
So it's not just the story of schools. I think it's all one bucket of money at the end of the day. But I do think it's important to highlight, some other growths we're seeing, retirements going up, general liability insurance, police operations, those folks, this includes their override, which after some pencil sharpening this past week, we realize is not 327, it's 197, which is real, I think hopefully a problem solver for budgetary folks considering their override thoughts at home. We did some good work, myself, Chief Sartell and Veronica really went through the numbers line by line. The ballot question was set at 327, or not to exceed 327. And, after a real sort of heavy look through, we were able to bring it down. So that's a positive thing. Our health insurance costs are going up substantially. That's a 6-figure increase there. Pretty common across the board with most municipalities in the state. I did increase our legal costs for next year. The reason being, we have 4 unions to negotiate with. I anticipate
Fire next year.
fire next year.
following fiscal year. So
FY
are we
27.
doing it, it's not up till the end of FY 27.
And we're also not done negotiating with the police in the event the override doesn't
That is
pass. So I just, I want to be really cautious. Like, I think there could, it's up to the behest of the public, our taxpayers, to decide what happens.
Mhm.
So that's something I think we ought to be cautious about. It's not lost on me that the town administrator salary at 126,042 is clinically low for this, a town of this size.
And I can speak to that later tonight.
Yep. That's not me advocating for myself. That's me advocating for the role.
Yep.
You guys have had 5 TAs in 27 months or something like that. That's probably not sustainable. Your Neshoba Board of Health is going up substantially. That's about a 31% increase in their contract. Again, that is a contract that's based on their retirement costs and also just fiscal management for the services they provide for septic review, restaurant inspection, nurse healthcare, things of that nature.
Tell me about highway operations.
Highway operations includes the hiring of the mechanic. So that is why you see that jump, as well
I
as
thought the mechanic was already in, there was another position. Are we rehiring the position?
just one. That's the number with one.
I thought it was already in the budget
It
for
was not.
FY
The
26.
mechanic wasn't. The heavy equipment operator was removed. I checked the numbers.
Okay,
Shifting to revenue. These are your revenue estimates for the town. Most of these are pretty checked. Your new growth, what the levy limit likely is, your excluded debt, where the money comes from. It's on the shoulders of your taxpayers and the properties they own in town.
Which again is not unusual for a town like us. It's always kind of been that way.
Not at all. For also looking at, revenue estimates, just a different way, table chart here. You have your enterprise costs, estimated receipts, which is a really high number. That's why it has that yellow, sort of highlight on it. We're not going to have a transfer from the reading room this coming year. That is going to be voted on to be removed as a warrant location, a posting location, and then look to be sold. That will impact, cash for fiscal year 28. Last year, you used $200,000 in free cash to balance the budget. I have it as a 0 this year. Solid waste indirect cost is an estimate at 17,169, about a 5% increase. School resource officers on there just so it brings light to the fact that we do get that offset from the school district.
Did the school budget increase 7,000 for the SRO? Where are you getting the 87K from?
That was from the police chief when he said if the override passed.
But that money has to be budgeted, I thought, through the schools. In other words,
It's a back and forth
Uh-huh.
discussion, correct?
So, but if the costs, if they get a wage increase, it has to be paid and then we get it back.
So it's a wash.
It's a wash.
it is a wash, but do the schools understand that they're gonna have a $7,000 increase on the SRO line? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Question.
So then you have a total at the bottom, just under a smidge under 1% for revenue estimate growths. I did note the free cash we have down below, $559,000 approximately, and the auction of town-owned properties, which is just over $356,000.
Do we know what that could be used for? Because I know it was put in a different bucket.
It was put in a different bucket. It does have some specific guiding parameters. I can forward those along to the board.
Okay.
Essentially, you would need a town meeting vote to disperse it. So you could say the town meeting authorizes the auction of town-owned property fund to go to the general fund to stabilization.
So could we do, okay. So,
And free cash, we're thinking like 300 for snow and ice?
They're at 214 right now. So
Over.
over.
But look, so right, so that free cash amount, take 300 out of that number.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's say
And
250.
we have
Just call
about
it
how
250
much
for right
in the
now.
special town meeting on the 19th?
About 100.
Can we redirect maybe at least the I think it's only 5K for the actuarial study to come from the town and property?
You'd have
See what I'm saying?
You'd have to do the town-owned property at the annual town meeting because we're not reopening the ballot for the special.
But can't we in the motion,
Amendment,
doesn't it
amend.
say,
I don't.
or any other, depends on how the article is written,
Right.
whether we could redirect
Or any
or
other
to take the
action.
funds from there or any other, that part of it.
Yeah, I think we did the anything here too, but I'm just not an
Okay.
expert in that. So it's something we could investigate
It's something.
over the next few weeks. So revenue estimates. This is the right presentation. So in general, give me 1 second here because this isn't the right presentation.
From the email too.
No, I got it right here.
These are reductions.
No, we're not getting into reductions on this. Give me 1 second.
Don't look at this page, the screen. Don't do that,
Sorry, this wasn't the right one. I loaded a line. Give me 1 second. I know everyone's just
Okay.
holding it all hostage.
I don't know why I'm not having I'm so excited about this feeling.
It's hard. Hard things are hard.
Oh. That makes sense then. Sorry about that, folks. I had the wrong presentation. This again was what I shared with the staff. A couple other things. It was just like housekeeping stuff I shared with them. I said, sometimes people just hand me papers. I said, you have to email me things, just in case you hear that through your own walks of life. Buying power, it occurred to the town accountant that we're buying water for 2 or 3 different suppliers, paper from 2 or 3 different suppliers. We could be saving money if we bought it all in one way.
I thought that was changed already.
It's not. The library and senior center are buying water on their own.
Library does it from a fund for the printers, so it's actually not our general fund.
But they're paying more.
Yeah, so it's not. It's literally just money for printing goes to buying, so they can.
Scheduling, I'd asked staff to let their department heads know, and if it's, the town administrator, let them know where folks are. Just because sometimes residents are looking for people at certain times, and just trying to make sure we know where everybody is, especially in case of emergencies or snow. And also be kind, because we are on the same team here, and I think that's lost on people sometimes along the way. Fiscal year, I touched on this, same slide you saw. This is a better version of this. Now you can actually see percentages. Sorry about that. So
We can imagine it, don't worry.
Yeah, it's fun to imagine things, but a little different makeup here. And I'll sort of jump through these quickly just because you already saw it. And again, I'm pretty confident in that highway operations number for 1 person additional. But I'll recover on that one, Veronica, because I know you asked the question there.
I was hoping actually that it would be an increase in snow and ice in the general fund as opposed to, that's what I was hoping you were going to answer, but that wasn't the answer. So.
We saw revenue estimates. Again, similar slide, different design. Budget control. So this is what I was trying to get to, and it didn't look as complete on the other slide. We have hiring freeze in effect right now. FinCom and Selectboard has a few exceptions. A few departments are looking to make more exceptions due to perhaps a loss of an employee or seasonality of schedules and things like that. So just a heads up, they are going to most likely check with our FinCom for the steps of the process. Again, I highlight on the school increase. This is the total for North Middlesex, debt, and tech. Departments, for the most part, have submitted flat or reduced budgets. A huge thank you to those departments. I did walk through with staff, a scenario 1 where, though FinCom has not heard this from me directly yet, I'm going to ask them to cut their reserve in half. I do have a history of spend down for that. I actually think it's been used to sort of save departments in the past, whether it be snow and ice, offsets and things like that. We're in such a unique budget situation that I don't think you can have buffers out there in the world. And I'll share that with them. I had a good conversation with fire. They are not going to look to have their assistant fire chief role filled. That was a really, a needed give of that department. It means a lot to the town in our budget situation for where we are. In the event you guys find another TA and I was writing grants for you, I wrote myself out of the budget. I think that's only fair.
Well, I don't.
Yeah, but I'll say, you are almost 400K in the hole.
I know.
Our budget.
So I just want to say that.
But I'm just saying that since we've had a grant writer, we have done very well in getting grant funds to get the things that our tax base doesn't cover.
Correct.
Agreed.
And that's why I think it is important.
Yeah.
And it's not all that much money.
And more
you
than
all
pays
know.
for itself.
It does pay for itself, but in sharing with staff, and again, I think if you had that person at a quarter of the time, they may still hit on some great grants for the town. I'm just putting every card on the table here to help piece this budget together.
And as far as housing goes, so I can appreciate writing the housing piece out, it is possible that if in fact, I shouldn't speak for the housing trust here, but if in fact we were successful in selling that property, that we could fund administrative support, because maybe not the whole thing, but at least half of it.
Yeah.
because that's important as well.
It is.
So that's all I'll say. I mean, it doesn't have to be at the full amount, but
Yeah.
that's something.
I essentially just cut most of them in half, and you'll see that in a later slide.
Okay, all right.
You know, so again, scenario one ends up saving us about 150K or so. In that scenario one, you'll see on the budget that I'll present, also does include about $90,000 in wage increases for your TA role, police, fire, and highway. TA role again is probably too low. Police chief has a contract that's coming up, and we will begin sitting down with him. Fire chief role is paid at a too low of a rate, so it would look to be a new contract and a new rate for that, and a set amount of hours to work with that, and the role. And highway, we've started touching on him with snow and ice. This might be a way to work with them based on a promotion, add some other aspects of the job in, and go from there. I did ask the staff for any suggestions, any ideas, and some great ideas were kicked around, again, revisiting articles, any other sale of properties in town.
We're working on that.
We're working on it.
Working on that. So,
So scenario one is all union except the TA.
well, no, your police chief is not.
Fire.
Oh,
Police chief, fire, and TA
they're
are
all
not,
contracted.
they're contracted.
the
Highway
highway. yeah.
superintendent's union at this time.
The issue with the increase there is the, we have
A process.
yes.
Yeah. So, again, the staff were great. I think they appreciated the transparency. This is me identifying these reductions, and sort of going from there. So, you're not, other than the land use administrative assistant, which was about a $3,400 or so role in that budget, it was cutting grant person in half. Same with housing authority, land use training, land use mileage, building inspector, building department.
And those are pennies. Pennies.
Yeah.
But it all adds up to 143,
Yeah,
not pennies in the end.
which helps. And really the collateral
But
damage
look
is
at
your
where it's
assistant,
coming from.
it's your assistant fire chief. Deficit situation. I think the select board and your town administrator and employees as well as residents are really going to have to ask themselves, what is required to function as a town? What is recommended? And that's just kind of the situation we're in. I know it's grim and it's not surprising to you guys because you guys have been looking at it for a while. Townsend passing a $600,000 override, probably too little, should probably be about $1 million. But if you're just going based off this shortfall in our budget, you'd be doing 197 plus 400K for a general municipal operational override. I tried to, share what the impact would be. On a home that's worth 450K, it's $40 a quarter, which is, it's not a small amount of money. Like that's a tank of gas these days. It's four or five coffees at the new Starbucks down the street. These are the questions I think we have to ask folks in this scenario. There are no wage increases for union folks in this scenario. So I know we have an agreement to work on with them in the future. But this would be basically telling people, other than some of the department heads, you don't get a wage increase. I suspect people may vote with their feet in the reality that happens. Because I think that's tough to ask when the cost of everything in the world's going up, whether it be Gatorade, your electrical bill, car repairs, you name it, education. The staff, I think, we're saddened to hear this. I think appreciative of the information and sort of hearing where we're at. So that's how this looks like. And we'll quickly jump to our recap sheet, if that sounds interesting to folks.
Yep.
So I'm going to stop sharing for one more second here and grab that sheet. My computer will cooperate with me.
PowerPoint is not in the SharePoint.
You didn't put the right one in there, so I'll email that out. So,
Okay, thank you.
I know this is hard to see,
Yeah, it is. So we have that.
but I did print
Yeah.
it out. It's on your SharePoint, and
Yeah.
Is it this one?
yeah, it's that little itty bitty one.
I got it.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
can
still
zoom in.
tiny. Okay, let me
You can
make it
zoom in.
bigger. Yeah,
Zoom in.
Um,
that was at
100%.
150. Now I did 150. Still
Even
too
touch
small
my readers.
on mine. Okay,
I'll
300.
pinch in a bit more.
Okay.
So, this is your recap sheet. This is, identifying, our expenses. So this is really all your general government expenses here.
And that is level funded
A level funded with
with
a
those.
few department head increases and no wage increases really otherwise across the board. Here's your North Middlesex number. And here's your tech number here. Your tech number is jumping, 1471 to 1621.
A lot.
We have about 5 additional students going in
I was
enrollment.
gonna say, we must have more students
Yeah, it's
there.
about 5 more. Yeah.
What are the numbers at North Middlesex for students?
They're pretty flat and they're beginning to invert and go down.
Yeah,
That's happening
That's what I
across the
thought.
board. Almost every school is seeing that these days.
well, the techs aren't.
Different program. And as someone who was a liberal arts college person, I wish I came out with a real skill. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Again, looking at the recap sheet, you're carrying over your 166 for TCAM. We do get that back from Comcast. That's part of our agreement.
It's more or less a wash.
Yeah, it is. It breaks
Okay,
even, it has to. Here's your overlay number. I have 200K holding in the snow and ice, though that appears to be too low after seeing that it's 214 a few days ago.
I asked the question, do you have the numbers of what it has exceeded for the last 5 years? And if the number is 200 or more for that time,
Mhm.
why are we still on the low side? Why aren't we telling it like it is
That's a great question. And I have
You
to
mean in
answer
the
your
budget
email.
itself?
in the budget itself?
Yeah.
I think it's because the budget has been so tight. It's the one place that we can
Deficit spend.
deficit spend. The only place.
Well, then you can't complain because you're inviting it.
Mhm.
I don't think
You're
there's.
setting yourself up to
You're
fail.
setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah,
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
saying anything else. But if you budget it in, you may not spend it. So it's a way to, although if it doesn't get spent, it
For
Hey.
the
goes back
general
to
fund.
cash. So not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, but it is the one
The
place,
trick is
and
we
town
just
has
need the-
traditionally deficit
we need
spended.
the year in which we have the flexibility to bump it into. And we can plan for that 3 years out, 4 years out, 5 years out. But at this moment in time, we don't have that $300,000 flexibility to bump it into the general
Right.
budget.
Self-inflicted,
Mhm.
self-inflicted.
If you look at it historically, I did that once and it pretty much 400,000.
Every year.
Well, that was an average over, I don't know how, I don't remember the numbers, but I mean, even if you just put it.
I'm just saying for transparency.
Yeah, I can piece that together for the next meeting. So I put 200K in there. It's already too low. It should have a 3.
It should be
Yeah.
300.
It's gonna end up at almost 4.
And who knows what it'll be after today?
Right. Again, I know I'm being quick about this, but scrolling down the sheet, on the green side, these are our revenues. Receipts, indirect costs. I'm going to, again, check with water. We are just verifying their percentages. That's where this 471 comes from. It might be a tad higher. You might be another 7 or 8K there. Again, our local receipts estimates. Really important to note that, you are no longer required to pay your excise tax.
I just did that.
I know, so did I. $115. I was like, son of a. You will no longer, if you get pulled over and you have not paid your excise tax, you will no longer be required to go pay it.
Well, I would never get pulled over.
So,
I would. I like to drive fast. It's a passion.
so, so with this, do we need in those estimated revenues to put the solid waste receipts, that 18,000 up there, or is it?
It's down below here.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
right.
just wanted to make sure it's in there. Okay,
Yep.
great, thank you.
And I'm just waiting for that number to be verified.
Nope, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it's in there because every little bit counts. So.
Mhm.
Where you have free cash and you have cap loaded lease, shouldn't that be capital stabilization? It's not coming out of free cash.
Yes, likely. I just maybe did it at about 1 o'clock in the morning last night.
I
So,
understand.
So-
It is capital stabilization. It's not free cash
Okay.
for that payment.
that's good news. So, this is important to note on a couple topics. That 700K is, that's our ambulance receipts for the town. I don't know where capital planning left on advising that the fire department utilize their ambulance receipts to cover that cost. That could open us up to a not so good can of worms.
Right.
Because as you see me scroll down here, here's your 390 in red. And then, some questions about how we're going to use this free cash. The question is, do you use 200 in free cash to stave off a spiral? And you sort of gone through the budget scenario 1 reductions. If you were to approve of a lot of this free cash spending, at whether it be, again, I have that 31K in there, so that's just an error, but
then
That
snow and
can
ice
come
is
out.
3.
Snow and ice is 3, right?
If snow and ice is 3, we have nothing.
correct.
Do we need the 20K in elections? I know it was asked for, and I know it was I'm just wondering, do we have money in what was left? Do we have leftover money in the special article for elections
It's about,
already?
I think that was the one with around like 8K.
8K.
Yeah.
So why do we need more? I can see doing it when we no longer have money in there.
Mhm.
But
He mentioned it, the town clerk said, hey, I really need that 20K. He made it,
We have
that
we
tells
have
me
midterms this
that
fall.
the general budget
Well, yeah, we have-
should be increased,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have-
not this.
right.
Well, and we've bumped it down.
Yeah, we have 3 required elections this year,
Yes.
outside of the town stuff that may also be on the docket.
So why don't we, instead of doing it out of a special article, which is supposed to be spent within the year, so are we taking that 8K out and putting 20K? Do you see what I'm saying? Why
It doesn't
don't
roll
we,
over.
why don't we just put it in the regular budget? If we know how many elections we expect to have.
Yeah, I think he actually did, and I just level funded it because I'm trying to piece this together. So to his credit, I think Harrison put it in there, and I think I pulled it out.
Was it 20K or was it 8K? Because we do have 8K for
I
elections.
think it was
is what I'm
20,
saying.
but I don't know all the numbers off the top of my head, but,
Okay.
because I think he sent me an
I'm just
updated budget this morning.
So
This
there
morning?
is a chance, in pending council, that, can you go back down just for 1 second, Karen, to the yellow? I'm not gonna take too much time, I promise. That down,
Sorry.
where you just had that free cash breakdown. There's a chance possibly a couple of those we're saying maybe could come from town properties if Adam says we can change that at the special time.
Could the bunker gear come from there?
I'm not sure. I think so.
The OPEB
Property
study
sold?
probably could.
From the property sold?
Yeah.
Why don't we see what we
We
can?
might be able to revisit that for an annual town meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just throwing out ideas and
I know that we had wanted to get that OPEB study done. This was my last iteration of Selectboard. Get the OPEB study done and see what the amount was and use the sale of the water department building to start the escrow for, being able to help, with retirement health care.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, a reason
that's what
not
we
to
talked
spend
about.
that money for something other than that.
Yeah.
And I know the select board voted that, not when I was on, but when Teresa was on, they
Yeah, I
voted for
remember.
that.
Mhm.
And I think town properties might have voted for it too.
Yeah.
At the time of they recommending the sale
Mhm,
of the building.
right.
So again, here's your scenario one. I know Cindy King has a hand up, but I'm just going to quickly summarize. Again, this is scenario one. That was the fire chief salary at like 96 and change, and FinCom at 20K and change. That just didn't expand the cells.
Mhm.
I started to think tree warden. Could we do half the time with them? I don't know. Similar to Betty May will kill me, but our concerts required. We spend about 17,000 is the number for those. Could you cut that in half? Could someone donate that? Because that 8K adds up to this 7K, and we're at 15K, and then you add a few other things. We start to snowball into having some more cushion.
What is the history of the expense?
Sorry.
There you go.
What is the, history of expense with the tree warden?
It's time to time. There's expenditures. I haven't had a deep conversation with him about it.
Well, I mean, like year to date kind of thing?
Yeah, I can check the PVA. It really is dependent upon activity in the town and stuff like that. I don't have a straight answer for that. So,
Well, that would be the same for snow. It really depends.
it varies. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and this is, you can stop me at any point, Karen. When you're saying this whole thing, no wage or salary increases, right? That's assuming exactly nothing changes in staffing
Correct.
across the board. Okay.
This
Yeah,
deficit, the
experiencing it.
390.
So
That
just a moment. So Cindy, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, it was just a technical request. I don't know if you're aware that, but what you're looking at the big screen, we can't see on Zoom. I don't know if there's a technical thing that you can do so that we can see your shared screen. We're just seeing you guys. We don't see the.
That's no fun.
You see us making
Shame
funny
is
faces.
It is no fun. It's no fun to just.
Okay, hold on.
Well, the same was true with the CPA presentation last.
Yeah,
So
so
something
Dave,
kind of.
you don't know why you're not seeing it.
It's good now. It's good now. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess it's good. Cindy says it's good now.
Yeah. I can
Okay.
quickly run through, just for those at home, you're going to see our expenses up in the blue here up top.
Thank you.
Some of these are confirmed. Free cash is now too low at this 200K. That should be a 3. This needs to move to capital stabilization. That's your cat loader. So that won't hit us, but hits us in another way. Again, 700K from ambulance receipts. There was discussion about using bunker gear. Again, we're in the green, so that's money in. Comcast carries over, one equals the other. Some indirects. Again, cat loader lease, I just need to move. Free cash being identified, that should be 300K, soon to be a 4 for snow and ice. 197 if the police override passes. I have the 87 as that's money coming in if the override passes for our police officers. 150 is the scenario 1 in reductions that I've identified. Again, throwing myself under the bus as your grant writer. Again, your deficit being 390 at the bottom here, almost 391. For those at home that weren't able to see, this is me typing late at night, asking myself a question, trying not to forget it. Do we use 200 free cash and just delay for another year? Or, and here's your free cash expenditures, full well knowing that this number is going to increase and this one is going to fall off. And you still have bunker gear as a cost, one way or the other. I'm going to scroll back over to the right and up. And, here are sort of the scenario one ideas that I sort of cobbled together. And this is on my own volition. The select board didn't ask me to do this. I just started to try to come up with a plan. Callie had a question.
Yeah, and what's the bottom line there? Of your
150.
sorta, not enough. Callie,
Oh, I was just wondering, I haven't been, keeping track or asking anyone about the, trash service enrollments, but is it possible that we may get any part of that 163 back that we originally put in to fund the enterprise fund?
I was kind of shot
I don't-
down at the meeting when I asked the question.
Oh, you asked?
I asked the question.
And,
They got mad at me and said I didn't support their program.
Yeah, that's the.
There was no condition.
well, I think if they've made up the, enrollment, that they need to,
I think the
Compensate
answer
issue.
is that hasn't
it
happened.
wasn't part of my.
At least not
No,
the
it was
numbers that
not.
I've seen.
No, they wanted it and it was voted that way. I asked the question and I was the bad guy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
If we could get it back to go into stabilization, because we shouldn't be taking money from there, but that's not what happened.
so this is your recap sheet. I'll also show you what the omnibus budget looks like for this meeting. And again, I'm sorry it's so small, and I'll share with folks at home in just a second here. This is easy to look at, I know. Okay.
But yet I was one of the first people to buy the sticker. I was number 5
Yeah.
that bought the sticker. So I have supported the program.
So looking at the omnibus budget here, just carrying down what I've already talked about, which was a change for the TA, a contract employee, the TA's assistant. Some of this is placeholder stuff. Some of this is just trying to carry over one number from the previous year. I have some notes over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to quickly scroll through this unless anyone jumps out and has a specific question. And folks can reach out to me if they want me to share this with them as a PDF. Pretty quick. We have some of these things are contracted with the town, so we reduce our headcount with a remote town accountant. They're going to come in and there'll be a slight savings there. Board of Assessors, again, they carried over a budget. They did ask for another $1,000 for training, which is sort of a succession plan for that office, which I don't think is a bad idea, just based on what I've heard from the personnel. Treasure collector, they're going to look at some of their mileage costs. They do have to drive to drop off cash, which I find a little scary for our employees that have to be handling a lot of cash. I think we should be going basically all online or check.
What does that cost us? I can't see that.
So they asked for $1,700 in mileage because I think it's once a week they've got to drive to the bank, which is not in town, to drop off cash.
But also it's time. It's not just mileage,
Correct.
It's their time.
Mm-hmm. And it's a loss of time. So,
Yeah.
So I just trying to cobble together a few dollars. So I knocked $700 off there. I would really encourage the town to look at just getting rid of cash in general, especially in the town hall,
Yeah.
where we, at times someone could pay their taxes. That might be a lot of cash. Again, that's small. Yeah, sorry.
That has to be a policy change.
It would be. The treasurer collector could make that call on their own because they did with the penny policy.
Yeah.
I would of course want your okay from the select board to say, hey, are you okay with this idea? You don't have to vote on it per se, but the treasurer collector could just say, I'm no longer taking cash.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a Western Union money order, go up the street, get one.
Or money order.
Yeah, you can go to the post office and get it. So again, I'll just quickly kind of scroll through here.
I didn't get an answer to the question about the cost of the lockbox fee. I think I asked that today, so that might be something,
We can look into.
yeah.
Okay.
Somebody said that for the taxes. For
The
mailing
one
it.
in Reading, you mean?
Yeah,
That is so convenient.
okay.
I've been paying that way since its inception in town.
Well, I just wondered what the cost was. Was it cost effective?
I don't know.
Yeah. The question on the town clerk, here are the town clerk's numbers as they were requested. In general, elected town clerks are voted at annual town meeting. The wages and the rates are set by, the townspeople as a warrant article. Here are different, just out of the sense of level funding, I made a pretty significant change here in what they requested. And, some of these things that office does need. So if we don't fund it, it may end up just being a year-end transfer. I think a lot of departments are faced with that reality, things that may go spent, but not funded.
Level funded is level funded and applies to everyone, correct?
So your question about elections, I wonder if I have that in here.
It would be farther down.
It's right there, elections.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, elections here. So there was an increase for operation staff needs, some different things of that nature, professional services and such. With 3 required elections, you do have to think about that in the back of your head in terms of what it looks like as a town. You are required to have the elections, so you do have to compensate people for some of that work. So I know I'm taking a lot of your time, but again, not a lot of changes here, just level funding.
This is the important stuff. It's on time.
Yeah. Again, I kind of threw myself under the bus for land use. Just reductions in general there to try to piece together some funding. I don't disagree that there are some great grant opportunities, but we're just trying to piece it together. Facilities did ask for some additional help. Having just gotten a flurry of text messages, we are having a plumbing issue in one of our buildings right now. So, that gentleman's going to go attend to that over at the library. So, they're having a pretty gnarly little plumbing issue right now. So,
Nice.
That's a person that does, the gritty work that I think sometimes gets looked over in towns. Because it's gritty work. It's, it's like that guy, what was his name? Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs. I always think of him. And their budget also oversees a lot of the energy costs for town. So, their increase is because of our utilities are just bananas.
Everybody's are.
And I wish there was a better way.
Town.
Yeah, that's across the board. Residents feel it too.
Yep.
So, it's not just the town, but it's the residents. Police looking here, again, I sort of just have this 165 as a placeholder for the police chief. He does a phenomenal job for you guys. Looking at some comparable communities, I personally feel he's probably too low for the work and the requirements that come with police officers. So that'll be something for you guys to review with him in contract discussions in terms of how that goes and where it goes. This number does include, their override passing. So some of these numbers will, match what I had before.
Which you, on the recap, you took that into consideration. So for anybody listening.
Yep. So those marry up pretty well. Again, he's going to find a way to decrease energy costs, which God bless him if he can. I'd like to know how. Again, similar cost structures down here. He's able to actually create some savings at a level of funding. These aren't all his exact numbers. His numbers will change based on that override in terms of equipment, building, services, prisoners.
Okay, I have to ask for police.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you level fund the lieutenant?
I thought I did. I thought I cut and paste. Oh, I may just not cut and paste correctly over. So
okay, all right. That's all.
Yeah,
Saves us
$1,600.
a teeny bit. That's all.
He's also a part of an agreement with the union, but I'm not sure where they are in their contract process.
Oh, no, the union is the supervisors union.
He's a part of that too, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So it's the whole deal with that.
okay.
So,
So I can clean that one up. So you have $1,600
Okay.
more.
go ahead, sorry.
You know, shifting down to our other public safety, fire, again, this has been removed, this 96 for assistant chief. You know, you do see the increase that I'm proposing, 32 hours a week, $60 an hour. I don't know if the fire chief knows I've done this, but that's sort of where I'm coming from. I think the role and the responsibilities that we have here in town are so significant that you do need to have a good, strong fire chief, and they need to be compensated as such. 67K is not enough for the level of situations this town has. You had a really sad one this past weekend. You heard the engines a moment ago. I mean, that's a tricky job. Our fire department and our EMS do a very, very nice job for this town. Life-saving measures quite often similar to police, highway, and so first responders are they're
Put themselves at risk.
the taxing work they do is not lost on me.
Is the middle one the requested and I'm confused on what we're doing here.
Yeah, the yellow.
Do I
is
have
requested.
to follow the yellow? I have to follow the yellow.
The next column on the right.
The yellow.
No, that's the department request is the yellow.
Okay, so then shouldn't there be a 0 where it says removed from budget?
So it's been removed in scenario 1. That's part of the storytelling of how the number got to 150. That's removed. You'll see at the bottom.
Okay.
That math had
All
that
right,
line.
all right, all right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So again, you see their energy costs and such. Removal of assistant chief number here, a few pennies here and there. Emergency management, things like that. These are all sort of placeholders here. No surprises, and I'll speed this up because I'm only on page 10 of 21, so I'm boring everyone I know.
No,
Building.
stuff that we live for here.
Yeah, the building commissioner is not he's proposed not taking a raise. He's also removed a stipend from his kitty, if you will. And this is in the way here. And
He is not union.
I can't remember. He is union.
Supervisors.
Yeah. But there were some other increases from this department. He did want to give his admin a raise, a 2% admin increase. But he did find other areas to reduce costs. He's going to reduce his printer costs. He's going to remove this large printer and go to a smaller one. He's going to get rid of his alternative printer, alternative inspector costs. Not a ton, but it adds up here. So again, I commend his ability to sort of penny pinch here and try to really be a good team player. And, for a department that helps generate funds for the town, I really applaud his effort to try to be collaborative. So thank you to the building inspector. These other items, animal inspector, animal control, things like that, those things don't change much. Pretty flat in general. So, howdy.
Hey.
You guys okay?
Yeah,
You here for our meeting?
sign the lease.
Oh.
We haven't quite got there yet,
Okay.
but
Come on.
you can hang if you want. You got some candy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Everything okay in the field? We hear all the,
Two guys.
three-car accident.
Well, I'm not.
Just quickly looking at schools, again, we are at that 66855. This is as of a Thursday call I had with the school committee member that their assessment had come down. It saves us about $30,000-ish from the 692. So was that 26 or so. So it's the junk. This is tough. Highway again. I thought about having them take on some of the tree work. This is where Veronica may see if I'm right or wrong. Let's stay on holding my breath. All right, look at that. So they were at 555
Yeah.
and they go to 628.
Why?
So up here, this includes the mechanic.
Wasn't the mechanic in there already?
They may have been, but the role wasn't filled.
I know it wasn't filled, but there shouldn't be an increase in cost. It should be level. I
But-
don't understand. I don't,
Okay.
because unless it's a difference between the operator and the mechanic.
It might be.
It-
The ones of
that
one.
high of a cost? Oh, but there's an increase for the superintendent.
Mhm.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, I can dig into that.
I would look at that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's that pronounced. I honestly don't.
Yeah, snow and ice I increased. It's probably not enough. Things of that nature. Salt, I really put a heavy lift there. So it's 1.5 the orders versus 1. And then sand, I did the same thing. You know, we got to get that number up.
I agree.
And so on. So, street lights, things like that, not a lot of change. Cemetery and parks, not a lot of change. He did shift. They gave us a new budget, so the guys that do some of the work are going to keep their raise. They made a shift for an admin. That was their call. They are department head, so that's what they saw to do. They made some, tighten the belt straps, bootstraps, if you will, on some of the expenses. Housing here, you're going to see I reduced that. That was me.
I would have thought cemetery and park superintendent would have been leveled.
I asked the department heads, it's the same number.
The end of the department is the same number. So the request was for a level funded budget, not the details of how each department came up with that.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Board of Health decided not to change their number. They just felt that their costs had increased too much to do level funding. So that's why you see an increase here. The Shorter Board of Health is a contract. Landfill engineering is a contract. Council on Aging made some reductions. They're still a smidge over where they were, but pretty close. Oh, no, so they're at their level as well. They made a couple of the reductions in supplies and such. The Veterans Agent has not shared a budget with me, so I'm just sort of rolling it forward. I will catch up with them about what's going on there.
The Weston and Sampson contract, I thought that was under landfill engineering. I don't understand why there's an increase under BOH professional services.
I think that was for training of the members. It depends. If you email me, I can find out in particular detail.
I'll do that.
Library wages, they came back with some reductions and changes.
They dropped part-time staff.
Yeah. So that's, saving about $1,000. Recreation remained the same. I know they have a meeting with FinCom to discuss things, so they're just holding for now. Same with Memorial Day. Had a couple great conversations with her. Things like the stuff that we can't really control, debt and such. Some went up, some went down. It's just sort of the way it is. You see our insurance number at 12.9%. Life insurance change, isn't changing. Medicare town share, I use that as a placeholder. Here's your number. 29,246,000 minus the schools is 11,812. That should match what I had up there. But again, I was doing this very late at night, so apologies if it's not perfect.
First draft.
Do we have one if the override doesn't count?
I'm going to get that authority to build that at the end of this meeting. That's my budget. So you're welcome to email me questions. I know we have some other folks here to get
Yeah.
a couple of things knocked out of the park. So
Yeah.
I will stop talking and stop screen sharing for those that don't know.
Thank you. So, we have with us, people here from the fire department, and so I would like to go out of order, if the board pleases, to 5.2, review, discuss, and vote, accept lease agreement for the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Stations. Is there a motion?
1 second, I gotta take the right.
Guys can done
I value good to make a motion to approve the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Station lease agreements as presented and signed out of session with signature stamp.
You can sign it here too.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, do we
Okay.
need to sign out of session if everybody's here and agreeable?
I will amend that motion. I value good to make a motion to approve the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Station lease agreements
That's the one.
as presented.
Veronica Cal second.
Any further discussion?
Thanks, guys.
Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Tigers, Judge.
Laura Schiffern,
Cool building. Guys
So
did
do
good
we
work.
have the lease to
Yeah.
sign?
yeah,
We do,
right
yeah.
here.
Excellent.
We signed by the chair and then by our friends from the fire.
This will help with the budget too.
And someone give me a dollar for candy. I was like, you don't have to pay me for candy.
That's the money for the year.
That's for
I know.
2 days, and
years.
for 2 years.
This is
Get a
the,
receipt.
this is your lease.
I can't technically take it. Has to be a check.
It's
I wish I could,
in the mail.
because you have to have a receipt.
Yeah.
The legalese of life, so.
Now, this is just for the Old Harbor. This isn't for the Old Central.
For both.
It is for both?
It is
Does
for
it
both.
say it on there?
That's what Old Harbor.
That's Old
Harbor and Central.
This one says 65 Main Street. Are there two in here?
There's just one.
There's just one.
Her motion was for both.
My motion's for both.
It's just the Old Harbor that I saw.
It's just Old Harbor.
The Old Central will be a match to it.
We were supposed to do both.
I'm not paying you for everything.
Yeah,
You better hang
yeah.
on to that. Gonna drag me out back. It's just for,
So,
Old Harbor was the one we worked on.
so you want to sign on this one?
I would,
Absolutely.
Or
we'll revisit the other one.
So do we need to,
The motion was
do
for
we
both.
need to update the
the
motion?
motion was for both. She's.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will amend the motion to,
Old Harbor.
to approve the Old Harbor Fire Station lease
We've only
agreement.
been working on the Old Harbor one.
Yeah, so we need to vacate that vote, I guess.
Okay. We have to redo the vote. I can do that.
It will be just for the Old Harbor Fire Station.
That's the only one I got feedback on from working with you guys, was just Old Harbor, so I didn't have any other feedback for
We
them. Not that,
we
I
were.
could throw myself under the bus, maybe I didn't pay attention to the email, so. I sent it to your Hotmail, so.
We started out with both, but then we,
So we're good.
yeah.
Good on that one.
In motion. We'll
Catch
just
the other one.
work on
It should be pretty easy to mirror that one.
it. Yeah, just change the.
I move to amend the motion to contain only.
And I will second the amendment to the motion.
This is 65 Main Street.
On a roll call, right?
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll
Veronica
call.
Cal, aye.
I get a tie.
Laura Schiffern, aye. So it's going to be the 3rd of March, 2026.
Mhm.
I would prefer that we date the second one the same, just so it's on the same rotation.
Yeah, I'll send the draft
Yeah.
out to the correct email. Just into some nebulous Hotmail hole.
Package in the car.
Okay, so, it says 20 with a 2 for the expiring, but it should be 20,
It'd be a 50.
It's 50 years from now.
No,
2076.
2076.
Yeah, we can just append that and then we'll, because it was live signed.
And I'll need a copy of that.
I'll email.
Until we're all done.
Okay,
And
I'll send you a copy anyways, just so you have it.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, John.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Did he
Thank
sign
you.
all that?
Sorry for any confusion.
He signed, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Drive safe, okay?
Thank you. I'll follow up on the central one.
Yeah, I think it was almost exactly the same, but,
It was-
but there may be some differences because
I thought I read both
no
of them.
work has been done on that one yet.
Right.
So that was why it kind of got,
Dropped.
not,
Yeah.
didn't get dropped. It
I
just.
mean, I may have dropped it.
Well,
Well, we were doing so much work on that,
Yeah.
yeah,
that went back and
This was
forth
the
10
important-
times,
Yeah.
yeah.
so.
All right, well, those are one of the pleasure things to do.
Cool. I will, scan this and send this out and put a copy, to the fire EMS folks, so they have a version of this too. So
The Fire Relief Association.
fire release, yeah. I just think everyone is fire. and
That's fine.
Exactly what
Just
their code says.
specify the different groups. and all.
So that finished 4.2 for you. Sorry that took so long, but thought it was good to,
Nope, that's what
Yeah.
we did.
We're not done with that either.
we're
It'll
not
be done.
a few layers, so.
Next is 4.3. And it's not marked.
Yeah, there probably isn't any materials for this. It's
No.
more that I just need a motion from
This is
the,
the First Amendment to contract employment between Town of Townsend and the Treasurer Texas.
it is not,
No,
4.3 is approved motion to authorize the interim town administrator and labor council to invite the AFSCME unions to the table for considerations of the fiscal year 2027 budget. It's just a motion. There's
Okay,
no materials. to
sorry
support.
about that.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I evaluated to move to authorize the interim town administrator and labor council to invite AFSCME unions to the negotiating table for consideration of the FY 2027 budget.
Is there a
Veronica,
second?
second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica, aye.
Val Goodrich,
Laura Schifrin, aye.
Great.
4.4, MOU for the treasurer collector. Is there a motion?
Yep, I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the MOU for the treasurer collector audit representative stipend, contract amendment and sign out of session with Stowe.
We don't have to sign out of session.
You got it right there.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
This
Hearing
is just for
none,
that stipend we
roll call.
corrected earlier.
Oh, Veronica, aye.
Valerie Goodrich,
And Laura Schifrin, aye. 4.5, public records policy.
I don't have a lot on this. I think this is just moving to
Yeah,
adopt the
okay.
third reading revision of the public records
I don't think
policy.
this is ready for,
Not ready for consumption?
No.
Maybe table this one?
that'll be my,
That would be fun. I just want to state that I think there should be a charge for the requests because I think our staff should be paid for the work that they do.
and I mean, I would add to that,
That's
too,
what I'll
that just
say.
for context, because I've been contacted by a lot of people about this. On June 18th of last year, we received over 90 requests for anybody who's interested. 90 requests in one day. We have almost 400 requests last year.
Yeah,
I could read them to you, but you would have to cover your ears, some of them.
why are we
So-
not, I thought we already voted to charge
Yeah, and so I think we
last
just,
year and this year.
yeah, there's details that we need to figure out, and we can't charge a flat fee. It has to be charged per time. As a town under 20,000, actually, we have a right to charge from the get-go. So we just have to decide, and I think we need the time and energy to figure out the right way to do this. But this
That's
is,
good. I
this
just think
isn't-
the staff should be paid, and I think if a department head or the TA says this is the amount it will cost, I don't think the RAO should be waiving the fee. Because I think that that our department heads and our TA should be trusted for the time that they think needs to be spent for their department to cover the
And
request.
then the question is what responsibilities are ours versus the RAOs. And so I just think that this is part of
Can I put this to 3:10 and hopefully we get some more information?
I would like to push it to April, to be honest with you, after the budget, because I think it's going to take time and energy to figure out.
The issue is that we have ongoing requests coming in that
Yeah.
are requiring time of staff.
Yeah, I propose, I'll use myself as an example. We had a request from a requester about the revolving funds. I mean, I was point blank with the RAO, and I haven't caught up with the requester. They happen to be an employee. I don't know enough about the town administrator select board revolving funds to really dig into it, to be point blank with you. And it was going to take me some time to do it. So I sort of itemized it for the RAO. And they did not feel as though that was an accurate description, or perhaps the time would be necessary to investigate it. And they waived the fee. So I'm going to spend probably 2 or 3 hours tomorrow to answer this request.
What funds are they talking about? The only one I know about is the one that we established last year
There's a
for
Memorial Hall revolving
It's
fund.
more
There's obscure ones.
reading room. There's a few other that are overseen by select
these are the
board.
same people that'll complain, not do an override and complain about the budget. And
I don't know.
we don't have the staff to do the work.
Well, this was a staff member asking for this of all the revolving funds of the town. So they wanted to understand.
So is that a question for the accountant?
It ends up with the accountant, but it's figuring out, like, they wanted to know the entire budget makeup of all these revolving funds. So expenses, planning, forecasting, all that's everything, all encompassing for the last 3 years.
So that includes the
So they wanted recreation, cemetery and parks.
Trash?
They are trash. So they're asking a question of themselves because it's they want to know what the other revolving
we
funds
don't
are.
have time for this right now. Whatever.
I was a little, I haven't said this to the RAO, but I was a little disheartened by the fact that he waived the fee, because I estimated about 4.5 hours of my time, and only 2.5 of it we actually get offset funds for. So you guys pay me $61.60 an hour, and it was going to cost the town 200 and some odd hours for that 4.5 hours worth of work. And I was looking to catch $62.5 back. This is after I presented the budget today, where we are in the whole 400K. I'm all for answering the requester. I just think when it exceeds that 2-hour threshold, we have to catch some money back for the work that is proper and it's appropriate to ask. But
it is, I think it is what it is at this point in time. I do think that, I think that we need to have, I think Karen and I both didn't want to take Adam's time and money at this moment in time with the budget to really hash through some of these things with the RAO. And then I also think, we can help this process. And again, I don't want to take Karen or Sabrina's time at this moment in time by getting some of our meeting documents online. I think we can figure out ways that we can do this whole thing to make it, the records that are frequently requested, that are very quick to answer, are available.
I am all for putting packets online, we can do it before the fact, after the fact, whatever works.
Yeah.
But I object to having people spending time right now during the budget
Yeah, it's
process
destructive.
to answer a request that's going to have to be answered when that time could be better spent doing something else.
I think the trick is we have to answer the records
Okay.
request though by state law.
Okay,
And-
I'm going to work on this
Which
public
works against
records
the
policy
towns.
to have it say what I wanted to say.
And you should
Because
probably talk to Adam, because there's a lot of things that are gonna not be allowed to be said.
I don't want the RAO to be able to waive the fee if the department head, if the answerer
Yeah.
says the.
You
I think
I would
that's
just
wrong.
talk to council then.
I will. I'll spend the money doing that.
So
take no action for that.
Yep.
4-7.
Well, we skipped 4-6.
Yeah.
For the
April
meeting.
7th. April 7th?
Yes, 'cause
For
I'm
the
going
next
on vacation the
discussion?
next day, so yeah, sure.
I think we just need the time to,
I'm gonna call Adam and I'll have it
Okay,
written up before we get to April 7th, so we have a policy that we can review at least the week before. It's gonna spend council money,
okay,
but
Yeah, and really, I think it'd be,
it's,
my last parting thought on is that I just don't think, again, I think I love the idea of the transparency in the public records. It's the staff time that we're losing as a result of this. So again, the disheartening thing for me was just sort of the abruptness of waiving the fee when I think it's an appropriate fee to collect. And it's a very
and the
mild
first
fee.
2 hours were free.
Again, the first 2 hours were free. I just don't think, because I know Cemetery and Parks has work to do for this. I don't think it's gonna take them more than 5 hours, but those 3 hours are 3 hours he's not gonna be out shoveling the pathways now. Because he's gonna have to be going through some paperwork to figure out what he needs to do to answer this request. If someone slips and falls and Roger was in doing paperwork, that's the thought that goes through my head.
and
it's a good thing I shoveled the back walkway.
Right. But like same for, recreation. If there's a kiddo they could be possibly throwing a snowball for and like providing some care that way rather than looking through papers, that's what they should be doing. And we have to, again, I'm all for the information. We just have to have some catch-alls for funding for these things because it's a losing proposition for the
Yeah.
town to keep.
Yeah, and I think, and I've said this again, is I think the vast majority of the requests we can really help by getting some of this information, like this meeting today out there. That's fine. Then that doesn't become a public record request. So we can do our due diligence there. But just so people know, 400 requests last year.
well,
That's
I
what
have
we're
a
dealing with.
question. What is a public record? I mean, is this really a public record that's being requested? And who
Yeah,
makes
those
that
are-
determination? Because does that mean that why don't they just come in and go through the files themselves? These are
That can
things
be-
that have to be, time has to be
So
spent.
that can be, there's a place for in-person requests don't cost anything. Someone could come in and just look through the files themselves and it wouldn't cost anything.
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be on April 7th.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Thanks
comments.
for bringing us back, Lori.
4.6.
This is a Val topic, so.
Oh, yeah. This is me, right?
Yeah.
This is
you.
Oh,
this
time administration. So
administration.
did you guys have a chance to look through some of
Yeah.
the things that I sent?
I liked it, by the way.
Just getting started.
Do you want me to
You
screen share?
Scan the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I think so.
See what I can do here.
It should be in there. It should be in the
4.
new business.
4 point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That beautiful bald eagle.
Yeah.
That's one of our pictures.
I love it. I know.
Right?
Sorry, I'm a visual person. I created a PowerPoint template. Anybody can use it if they want to. So this is, again, draft for town administrator's steering committee getting started. You can go ahead. Your next one. So with a little bit of help from our consulting mentor, TA.
Can you shrink her down?
Yeah, so I basically I started by running comparisons by population and economic indicators. So here's the kind of range of things that I put into the DLS database. So in like 4 towns is a pretty good amount of towns to compare to. So our 4 by population and economic indicators, and they're right there what I used. Douglas, Lancaster, Rutland, and West Boylston were the closest. Just because you also should compare by geography too, I did a separate comparison, Ashby, Groton, Lunenburg, and Pepperell, surrounding towns. So if anybody, if there's a lot of feedback from people, those could change. I could pull the numbers a little differently, but that seemed pretty good. It was a little lower on population, a little higher on income and tax bill. Go ahead. So here's what we have. West Boylston is currently in a TA search. They had 3 TAs in the past year. Yay. I talked to the interim TA there, and so there, you can, in the packet is their listing for their job description is 140 to 180, and he said that they're probably for FY27, he's doing the high end of that range. And he was going to give me the assistant number. I put assistant in there because it tells a little bit of a story about the support that this office has too. Lancaster is at 175, an assistant at 78. Rutland just signed a new contract, and it's at 146. That contract is set up with some bumps mid-year for every three, and an end of the year bump. It seems like probably a person who has a little less experience, and their assistant there at 63.
It is an assistant TA or an administrative assistant?
It could be either, and that's why I just put it as an assistant position. Some of these, like I'm trying, it's hard.
But you use Sabrina here, so.
That's what kind of I was doing is the lowest. None of these people have an assistant TA also.
Well, yeah.
Some of our sort of geographic towns do, and that's not in there, but
Yeah.
they do, you can see, have a higher assistant than we do. So Douglas is up at 180 with an assistant at 69, and then Townsend over there 126 with assistant at 52. So that was for FY26. You can see there just a couple notes. Douglas is closed in the summer on Fridays. Rutland, which is the lowest of those comparisons, their town hall is 4 days a week. And then geographic comparisons, Pepperell here we have 180, Groton at 200, Lunenburg's 169.25. They also, I think they have an assistant. I have to double check on that. Yeah. Ashby's at 115. Their town hall is pretty much half day Monday through Thursday, and their town administrator is Monday through Thursday. And also their population is a third of ours about. And then there we are at 126. So those are geographic comparisons, just because it's only fair, you live where you live. We have to consider that. So the questions I have just before kicking this off is, do we want to use a contractor recruiter for the search? We can. It's probably going to cost something. Do we have the money for it? Based on that information there, are we confident going forward? I tried to bring a lot that I think would be kind of what they would start us off with. If you guys still want to go with the 3 members, that's fine. I will put one more shout out for 5 if you guys want to consider it. Job description and posting time frame. I would like to not do this until after we have a really good handle on the budget, because it's going to eat a lot of time for me. I think two department heads have already kind of stepped forward, library and police, to say they have long-standing employees, big departments. They're both pretty tenured in
That's what
town.
we voted, was to do one select board member. I think it was you. I think we
That's
actually
why I'm
voted
doing
you.
this.
Yes, right, we did.
And the two department heads of the.
And so if that's
outside of town.
you guys still want to go, that's fine. My first meeting, I might just have a pretty good public comment session for the town to come in and kind of give some feedback, but that's just my thought initially. So I'm thinking early April, but I'll take your guys' feedback. If you want me to try and get it going quicker, I can. And this is kind of I'll let you answer all my questions at the end so I can just get this done. This is kind of for the TA marching orders, interim TA to marching orders, the salary range to offer. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that's kind of where at least the comps land us right now. And obviously that depends on a whole bunch of stuff.
150 to 170.
It's too low.
Yeah.
170 is too low. Then 150 to 180.
The only reason I'm putting that low out there is for I'll say this, if somewhere in this budget snafu, we wind up with less of a lot of stuff, that's just what I'm leaving more room for in there.
Yeah.
It's just a range.
As your budget builder, I put 165 as the bottom of that range. You guys, again, you're a complex town.
Yeah.
In a
100%.
financial tsunami.
And if we get someone with experience, I'm okay with going higher.
Yeah.
Groton and Pepperell have been there for a while,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And so that's why their rate is as high as it is.
It also is.
And if we get someone comparable.
Yeah. We do also they do have higher incomes and tax bases and
Yes,
stuff like that.
they
So we
do.
you at least have to
Their
take that
budget
into
is higher.
consideration. But we do share school
Great.
district.
My purpose for a 3-member and a contracted recruiter, which is also what we had talked about.
Yep.
was so that I would want the contracted recruiter to vet people prior to bringing them in. I don't know in the most recent search if there were any references ever called. I have the feeling that there were not. I know that the committee did not check
That would not happen
references.
on my watch, but.
And, not on ours either, really.
In
but
terms of-
Laurie and I were both on that committee, and I don't think references were called. I know the time before, I called the references.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I
I would not feel comfortable bringing someone forward to you guys without checking references.
So I would want a contractor to vet and to vet the resumes and do a pre-interview, a second interview with the committee, and then the committee goes to
So
the.
how are we?
I
Yeah,
offer
go for
one
it.
bit of insight.
Please do.
You already have a consulting TA under contract.
Yeah.
You may be able to leverage them to review resumes and check references.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
You're already
I hadn't thought of that.
you're already paying them.
That's a good idea.
And this is someone who knows the workforce incredibly well.
And-
He can tell you within 2 minutes.
And I
That's
would
fine.
also want to get from the consultant, whoever it is, an idea of the range that makes sense for the town of Townsend
Yeah.
and the people that are coming forward.
Yeah. And my comparisons there, that did actually go through Jason, so he kind of agreed with my logic on that. So, my one problem and the reason I put that first question up is if we were gonna actually contract someone outside, how would we pay for it? That's why I
We would
put that
find money from somewhere.
We do sale of
But-
properties fund and hope to get someone who could really help write this.
But
so,
in any event,
So
yeah,
let me
we
s-
do have Jason under contract, but till when?
July.
July
And-
10th.
And so, I mean, it's March, you guys.
Yeah.
We're not looking at this so it's April, May, June. We have 3 months, and that includes any overlapping time that there may or may not be. I think it's late, but that's me.
No, I would love to start right now. I just don't think it's.
Why not?
I mean,
It's us. It's not him.
no, I know, I understand, but
He's
It's-
doing the budget.
I know. I mean, I can. Okay, I'll try to get it started sooner rather than later.
I would like to see I mean, if we're going, I would like to see, the team named and for us to make a decision so that the posting is out there by the beginning of April, so that if it's April, whatever the date was you threw out, that's the date where there are resumes coming in, something to look at.
Fun story. We knew, I can say this now, we knew as a Dunstable Select Board, we were going to hire Jason when he came to our town meeting, because it was in the spring.
Huh.
It was the
Wow.
smartest move, and then the other person did not.
But you at least had your people.
We had
We
had
won't
a
have
pool,
people
and
by May, whatever it is, if we don't start now and get things out there. So in other words, the beginning of April should be a meeting with, if we're using Jason as a consultant, we haven't voted on that yet. We could put that on the 10th for voting on what we're gonna do with that. And I would want to get things posted or name our committee with names, if in fact we have that.
Mhm.
And, you know,
Can you put together a report for the next meeting on the 10th,
On
March 10th?
what more information would you like?
the name of,
The name,
so it'd be
So-
Jay, yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I've already talked to those two department heads about this. They're fine with it. It would just be scheduling.
and we can name the people that are on the
let's do
committee.
that
Okay,
next week
then let's name the committee next
and
week.
approve it.
Do you want to just do that now? I mean, they've both agreed to be on the committee.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, it does say
Is it?
review, discuss town administrator search committee and process.
If you, I mean, we've
All
already
right,
created the
we
ad hoc
Name the
committee,
All right, let's,
not ad hoc committee, so I don't have any problem making a motion to name the members, as long as you're all sure you don't want me to go out and get two more. I just have to
I
ask.
think 4 is good, and you've
Three.
got,
Well, and the interim
oh,
consultant.
you mean about the members?
Yeah.
I'm good with 3.
um,
Do you want 5?
no, I want 3. We
Oh.
already voted.
No, I had to double check again because I got a lot of feedback, so I wanted to bring it because I would be
Let's just
open to
name-
5 if.
All right, I make a motion that we
I
name.
think been on 2, 1 being 5 and 1 being 3.
No, I think it
No,
was
we-
7 and 5.
Oh, 7 and 5.
Now we're going down to 3.
I think it's a better idea.
Okay,
Whittling away.
Yeah.
you'll get more done.
You will get
Okay,
more done.
I make a motion that we name the ad hoc town administrator search committee to consist of the select board member being Valerie Goodrich and the 2 department heads being the library director and the chief of police. If they will accept it.
Accept that charge.
Is that who you
Second.
talked to?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Very good at tie.
And Marcia and I.
Okay, so
Thank you.
second item of business is maybe have a
Chief
conversation.
Sartell is there. You good with that, Chief?
I
Still
am.
there? Yeah.
Yep, I am.
So,
Excellent.
I'm like, I didn't
Thank
talk
you.
to you, so.
Thank you for
Change your mind.
volunteering.
Yeah. And then I would, I guess I would like to have some idea. I mean, we had named the consultants that we were thinking of. I would like some idea and include Jason in that. Maybe we don't have to pay for anybody, but to find out, I think I sent out 5 questions to ask the people.
Mhm.
Maybe, since you're on the committee.
MR.
Call them and see.
I have the name.
There's a couple others, yeah.
Yep. I'll just double check and most importantly, what it's gonna cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then I'll
Right.
check in with Jason to ask what he realistically thinks it would take per week and if it's with what.
within, because he has to work with,
Yep.
Right.
Whoever.
yeah, well, he has to work with you
Yeah.
to get things rolling for town meeting and
Yeah.
all that. So talk to Jason too,
You also,
And-
yeah.
and then let's bring it back.
I'll give you guys an
Next
update
week.
next time.
Okay,
It also swings on your budget number.
yeah.
So, which that last part of that is, are we just going with what Kieran's put in there for that number right now for FY 27, 165?
For a number to work with right now, yes.
Okay.
No,
That could
let's
change.
make it 170, at least,
You'd rather be high than low.
yeah.
Well, it depends on the
Let's-
qualifications, right?
let's
No, no,
make
because if
it-
it's less than,
Then it's
the
harder to
money
make
goes
up the money.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't make up the money.
Oh,
You can
got it.
deduct, you know.
Then
the
maybe
effort.
we should make it 180. Sorry, but it's 10, it's 15K more than what's in there, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a whole lot. And we
If it gets you someone that's been a TA for 7 or 8 years,
just
I'm
can't.
not me,
No.
but like someone who's been doing great, like, and he's looking for a growth potential. You may get a wonderful candidate that could really,
We just
knows
need
much more than
someone
that, so.
that's gonna stick it out when you get the
And
90
so
requests in
I'll
one
say
day
this too, in
and things like
I will
that.
say this, that the TA community is amazingly helpful. And every single one of the people I contacted was basically like, give me a call if you have any questions. And in the brief back and forth I had on occasion, they said Townsend, less important is, they all felt less important just in a brief conversation is, it's the longevity of the person that comes in here at this point in time. Less so much the details. We really want to get someone who's going to be here for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, because we need that. We haven't had
We haven't
continuity.
had it.
So that's the focus. That really has to
I
be the
agree.
focus.
I agree with that.
Whatever that looks like.
That was the intent, before.
Yep.
It didn't work out that way.
but I think it's hard, so.
So,
Okay, that's my initial research, and again, draft.
so the number,
Draft.
the number that we are asking Kieran to put in the budget is what?
170 or 180.
Which one?
You can always go down. It's harder to go up.
I agree. I think
So-
we should.
I mean, Douglas
I
is
know what
at
I think.
180. Rutland's at 146.
Okay.
West Boylston is right now searching, and their job posting
We
is
can always
140 to
come down.
1. That's their job posting for West Boylston.
And they're likely to be about 177.
Yeah,
What I pieced together on that number.
so that,
Let's do 180.
Okay.
and then we see where we go from there. Okay,
Do you need a motion? We can just budget that.
I'll just input it into the budget.
So this is on,
Consensus.
this was 4.6 on new business.
yeah,
I'm going to expect this to be under old business every meeting going forward until we have a hire. Okay?
yep.
All right,
Okay.
4.7, Kieran.
I don't have a lot for this. I have not had time to discuss, finalize, or review ballot questions. I may ask if you're okay with me to table this to next week.
Yep.
The one thing I would like to know is what is the date?
We believe it's March 23rd.
For posting. So we have the
Yeah.
10th and the
Rita was
17th.
working on that this
Okay,
afternoon.
so if then that gives us, because it needs to be after the special town meeting.
So next week, we would basically say these numbers work. Review once more the 17th.
Okay,
All but one question remains. It's probably the override question.
it is.
And then all the others are firmed and locked in. Because then the meeting after on the 24th, because you need them by the 23rd. So really the 17th.
And,
Okay, 4.7 is being moved to 310.
and consult with Adam on the wording of the other request,
Mhm.
because we had that issue last week.
4.8,
Oh, this is
Oh, I
fun.
saw that.
Yeah, I didn't know much about this. Let me bring up this.
We get a nominal amount of money from them every year. And typically it's gone for like gas at the senior center or whatever. It's for ride share rides, like
Yeah.
if, and they're not doing it anymore. Is what I read in the
Do
thing.
you want me to read this, Karen?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So it's basically, this is notice to all Massachusetts municipalities concerning future municipal distributions from the Rideshare Trust Fund pursuant to a whole bunch of acts. No longer collect a per ride assessment of 20 cents on rideshare trucks originating in Massachusetts starting on January 1st. This will result in no disbursements to municipalities from the Rideshare Trust Fund in 2027 and beyond.
More just a notification. I don't know if there's really any voting.
Yeah.
Here. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
you're right,
Yeah.
and, just before that time, this is 27, January 1st of 27, it ends. You might just want to look at what it's meant in the past.
Yeah, I'll take a little dig into it and see what I can find out.
Okay.
Just for your time, Overwatch here at 6:51. We have a couple more things, and then we have a 7 p.m. executive session for fire union. So just for your
Well,
sense
let's
of,
try to get through
maybe want to jump to the
something.
police chief's one, 410. Because I know he's been hanging on the call for a bit, and it has to do with police radio to purchase for the
Okay.
Motorola devices. Chief, you still there? You want to speak up if you can?
Okay.
Sure. I don't really think this takes any sort of board action at all. Just the fact that we've got to figure out who the procurement officer is. Just I sent it in for compliance purposes, just to show you where I bought, how we secured the bids and that type of thing, because it is a fairly high dollar item. It is completely funded by a grant. But that's
Yeah,
been
so-
already approved by the board.
You have to sign that.
Yeah, so I think I signed it for you, Jay, so I just wanted to bring it to select board attention, and I'm happy to sign it for you, I feel like, so.
Sure. Yeah. I just don't know if you were appointed the chief procurement officer or how that
He
worked. So
was.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
He
all
was.
good, yeah.
Okay. So that's 410. Can we do 4.9?
Yeah, 4-9, letter from the fire chief and fire department in regards to securing a spot in the line for an ambulance. What they do with their cycles of life. We would be getting in line basically for one about 3 years out because they take 3 years to build out.
Right.
Not a bad practice, no cost to us is my understanding from the letter that we received. I will try to share this.
The planning mentioned that.
I
for
was
future-
against doing that this year. I am for doing it next year because
Okay.
I don't know how we're going to buy it. That's my problem.
In
And
3
I
years?
am looking at the life of the ambulances. I don't have any information on that. Like, what's the lifetime of the ambulance that we are replacing?
Yeah.
And the chief is right there. So, but that's why I was opposed to doing it.
Do you want to ask the chief?
Is
he here?
I know that once we get on that list, there is no way we are not buying it. And that's the issue for me right now with our fiscal situation. I have a concern about doing that. If it was me and my home, I wouldn't do it this year. I would do it next year.
Okay.
Because things lighten up in a couple years.
They do, the debt cycle. Hi, folks.
Okay, can we have the chief speak to it?
He's right under the gun, right under the microscope, right from start.
Live under the microscope, let's do it.
We are talking about getting in line for that ambulance. If you could just speak about where we are in the cycle, and what it means, what it means from that side of things, if you will, so.
So we have a new ambulance that is being inspected now, within the next week or two, and we're expecting it to be, it should have been completed last month, and it'll go to Connecticut, it'll be lettered, and it'll come up. So that one's in play. But the lead time on this has been 3 years. So the cycle time on these, we're gonna have one that's coming up, and we should have one in spare. And a year ago, I started this one, and I've held it in queue until now. And now I need to have an affirmation to be able to leave it there. There's no obligation, but it gives us a place in the line to have an ambulance if we need it. I would highly recommend it. If it looks in a year that we can't do it, I've got some thoughts and some ways in which this thing can be financed without it impacting the town budget. But right now, with the pressure, if you've read anything about it nationwide, getting equipment is not easy. So we're there, and
So just to clarify, when you started your statements, you said that you would have done this last year. You held it, but you held it in the queue, and so now you're asking it for this year coming up to be in the queue.
I was able to hold it in production queue without your authorization for a year.
Okay,
Now I need authorization,
and then it's for 3 years from now?
probably 2 or less.
At what point is there a financial obligation for deposit, anything like that? How does that sort of shake
When
out?
it goes in production.
Okay, so still potentially a year from now, then you might be back to the town to say, hey, we need 10% down. I don't know.
I'm not gonna ask for that. I think if we are left alone the way we are going right now, and I came prepared to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, you're under the bus.
Where we are, I know that I've committed 700.
Okay.
And I think we can. We're at 566, and today I think there was a $45,000 or $47,000 deposit. 45, so 45 on that is gonna put us at 610. We'll still have 3 more months, April, May, and June to go in that. So we should be, we should meet our obligation. And I think that if we continue to do what we're doing, there's a real possibility that we can fund it internally.
Okay.
I will tell you the new ambulance that's coming in. When we agreed upon it, it was 3 and change with an escalation that wouldn't put it over 425. We've had a little bit of a battle. They've held it at 425 to get it to the ALS level. Brings it pretty close to 600. We made up that difference with the Neshoba fund money. And it would be the same. It would be a $600,000 ambulance by the time we're done. Maybe even a Schmidt.
Yeah, but it would be another advanced life support
the only way we're going with it.
How old is the ambulance that you're replacing with it?
A1 is 16, 18?
It's a 16 or 17, I believe.
Yeah.
Years old.
Yeah,
No, model year, so it'll be 10.
Say that again?
2016.
2016, yeah.
It's a 2016
So it's 10
ambulance, so
years old.
it's 10 years old. And your other ambulances?
Plus one will be a 24, 5, the chassis is 1 year and then the box on the back, so probably 25, 25.
25 and a half.
And I think it's, A2 is 19 or 21, 19, I think it's 19.
It was 2019.
Yeah, that what it is, yeah.
And the life expectancy on an ambulance?
It's all about the abuse, so they are abused, they're hard ones.
Yeah.
5 years is we try to switch them out in 5 years just to keep
Up to date.
Yeah.
Our oldest one is at like just under 110,000 miles, so I think it's like 106 or something. So 106,000 miles.
Most cars usually start creaking at that age. Imagine an ambulance with a bit more wear and tear.
There is a little value to it, not a lot, but there is some value.
Yeah.
My concern is how we pay for it. Because we don't have money to pay for it until in 28, fiscal years 28 and 29, the borrowing starts to drop off. We'll have things paid off, so we have room in the current town budget, and I'm looking at things without an override. And then it becomes easier to cover it. And so my concern is if we do it now and it comes in a year, we don't have the money. Because we also have a highway vehicle being asked for that we are pushing out this year. That would, they want another plow and then another plow.
Got it.
And so we just can't.
So Veronica, that's incredibly valid, and I understand that, and I think that we've worked in the past 4 years, well, maybe 5, whatever it's been, 4.5, to increase our revenue to the point I think you're well aware that the obligation from the town is around 875, 950 over the past 10 years. We want to hold it there, and I do believe if our strategy is accurate, that we should be able to and still be able to get back the 700 per year. We could potentially self-fund it.
So basically just asking for permission to go into the queue without any deposit
Or without an obligation.
or without an obligation.
Thing is sell.
I can do that if the motion includes, when the time comes that you have to make a financial obligation, that the select board is again considered.
Oh,
Is
absolutely.
again able to vote.
I think it has to go to town meeting.
Probably does.
It
Or
does.
capital planning, sort of up through the chain
Yeah.
of life, basically.
So,
Yeah. So it's just a matter of maintaining the standard that we are operating under.
Yeah.
And we're in great shape on the infrastructure side.
but
You're
it
just
went
looking
to
for no
capital
strings
planning
attached.
this year. Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
we
No,
don't,
because
we don't have the
I-
money.
I understand.
Um,
Not asking for the money.
Okay.
but you did put in an ask at capital planning.
I put in an ask on capital planning to be recognized. And I also told them in capital planning in this room that I thought if they did not take more money from us, that we could self-fund.
Correct. You did.
Okay?
You did.
Were you there? Or watching? I'm not sure, but I know I said that.
Yeah, you did.
But I will,
That's my concern is.
my soapbox is, and somebody's gonna have to work really hard to convince me otherwise, there's no other department hit harder than we were last year. And the police department budget's equal, they're our brothers and sisters, they're all in emergency service. We got whacked 90,000, we gave back money and we gave up, capital, we $256,000 of hits last year, so. We're just trying to maintain it, and I think that we have a plan moving forward that's not gonna put more pressure on the town.
On 4.9, is there a motion?
I like a plan.
How do I want to word this?
So the motion would read something like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, look, I'm just thinking we're 245, there's just 5 days. contingent upon no current financial obligation. How about that, Veronica?
Yeah, that will work.
These motions off the top of my head.
All I hear is no financial obligation.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the fire department request to secure a spot for ambulance replacement, contingent upon no financial obligation, current financial obligation.
Is there a second?
Does that work for you?
Not current,
No financial obligation? No financial, how would you like me to say it?
With no expectation from the town to support it financially?
No unapproved financial obligation.
Yeah,
I will go with that.
no unapproved financial.
Let me do it again.
Same wrong to the
Yeah.
same kingdom now.
Okay, it only took 3 people, but
I thought Goodrich move to approve the fire department request to secure a spot for ambulance replacement.
with no.
Contingent upon no unapproved financial obligation.
Contingent upon no unapproved financial obligation.
I will second that.
From the town. Correct, I heard that.
And we would
from the
have to
town.
approve any obligation, even if it was funded
Correct.
by, we'd have to approve it.
So if I get an email that states that, I'm gonna attach that to
I can make that.
It'll be in the minutes.
the.
The motion.
Well,
In
for
the-
his
Oh.
percent,
Well, I'll get you a letter by the end of the week. You have it.
With whatever the motion said.
Yeah,
We do appreciate all the support the town's given us. Those 2 engines have been at work since they came in December. And, thank goodness that we've had them to be able to attack the way we attack.
It's been busy.
you've done a lot lately, we can hear it. Any further discussion on the motion?
yeah.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
How good a try?
And Laura Schiffern, aye. Okay, that's 4.9.
So we did have these folks in our town council, Ms. Jane Friedman, scheduled for an executive session at 7 p.m. So I may suggest we pause from
yeah.
regular business to come back. So TCAM and those listening at home, we are going to come back. Jay, I don't know if we had anything more for you, but unless you were just driving around in the snow doing donuts listening to us, you may be off the hook. But otherwise, I think I would pause regular session and say we'll come back for a few more items, fully recognizing that it sounds like it's snowing pretty heavily, so I want people to be safe getting home too. So
Do we have to read all the executive sessions now?
No, just the one.
you could pick out one because it's 7.1 because we're going to come back to regular
Okay,
session. So I move to enter into and adjourn from executive session. And the chair so declares for 7.1 at 7:05 p.m. You
so
can
moved.
do-
Hi, Laura Schiffern, so moved.
Bingo. Is there a roll
And
call vote?
declare.
Well, second, Veronica Cal second, right? Did you second it already?
And then 7.1 is executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and so the chair so
Laura
declares.
Schiffern, so declares.
Okay.
Irene.
Okay, we'll see you back in a bit.
Thank you, TK. We'll be
Thank
back.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We are back here at 8:12 p.m. Reconvening the meeting. We'll also be going out again, and I apologize for that ahead of time. So, roll call to reconvene.
Veronica Cal present.
Baggage present.
And Laura Schiffern present. I'd like to go to 5.3. Is there a motion?
How about I could just move to approve the MOU for highway superintendent and sign out of session? Oh, no, we don't.
No, we're gonna sign it here.
Okay, I thought I could just move to approve the MOU for highway superintendent.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal, aye.
Okay, any further discussion on the MOU?
I guess I just want clarification that it's a total of 10,000 and not 16,000.
It is a total of 16,000 that's being asked for.
So in this, there's 3,000 in the contract, 3,000 that we have also,
Previously
True.
authorized, correct?
and an additional 10,000. Okay.
I know it's tough, but it's snowing outside. I don't think it's gonna get.
I am just curious if there's a way to, minimize hours. So that, on days when plowing happens, because overtime is over 40, are we working regular hours too? I would just like that looked at, I guess. That's all.
I think it's going to be a great discussion point for our negotiations with those
I think
folks,
so too.
because I think we need to the benefit of the town and the employee, I think we need to make a real crystal clear understanding of how this works
Mhm.
for their role in what are tough conditions, as well as the financial situation for the town.
Okay.
But in
Well said.
yeah, in our current situation, I think we pay the individual.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Veronica Cal,
Bella Goodich,
and Laura Schifrin, aye.
If I may, Chair, I don't have an update for you guys for 5.1, which was review, discuss, approve town meeting warrant articles. I ran out of time to do that this week.
Okay, so that's to 310.
Yes, ma'am. So it leaves you with 5.4.
We'll just take that. 5.4, yes, is there a motion?
you know where I'll be. Here you go, Veronica.
Yeah. So there's a list of special municipal employees as identified via town clerk lists and the town of Townsend list. So we have that list. It's updated, I believe, yearly via the town clerk. I think there's an interest in posting that list on our town website. I think I would write a little letter in support of acknowledging the roles and where they came to be. And I could ask you guys to sign it out of session if you wanted. So
I would like to, can I say something?
Yes. Yes.
So are we looking just at the memo on the top page? Is that what we're looking at? Because I am good with removing all the appendices as long as we put an asterisk next to Board of Fire Engineers, to note that that includes the fire chief.
well, the fire chief's role is already called out in the list in 2 different spaces.
But not for the date of 1963.
That's actually on there.
It is.
Let me see it.
1963 Board of Fire Engineers.
Yeah. And then it's mentioned again in 2020.
But how, okay, so the appendices was to show, I show that the Board of Fire Engineers included the fire chief. Without that, you don't know that that's the case. It looks like in 1963, they named every town employee a special municipal employee. And that included, they did.
Why can't the whole thing be posted?
I would like to post it.
I would like to post
That's
the whole thing.
that's
It's got history.
Yeah. I mean,
You mean the appendices as well?
Yeah,
fire chief, 1/24/2024, fire chief. Called out.
Right. So go up to 1963, Board of Fire Engineers. Does that include the fire chief? Because it does in the appendices.
I hear you. I don't.
it did in the article too. And I don't know, they should never have written out that thing. It should never have been a question in my mind.
And that's the supporting document, right?
Yeah.
That second one.
Yeah. My thought was it's naming all the positions of the town.
Yeah.
Rather than, to me, it's
think
not
that-
about highlighting any specific role. It's just us saying, this is the list we have. We received it from the town clerk. It was last updated on February 2nd, or February 20th, 2025. We acknowledge that. We're putting it on our website. Here it is. I don't know why,
Can we just have this as a cover letter without the last paragraph? And then you've got all the history.
Get to mine.
here it is up on the board. I agree with you. But I work for you guys. Sorry, I'm not gonna deflect, but that, to me, it's not about any one role. It's just the select board acknowledging who the
All
special
of the
municipal
positions.
appoints. Correct. All of the roles.
Why would you take out you mean take out the last sentence?
I would take out the last paragraph starting with the position because it's not relevant to the entire list.
Where do you answer the question, what makes up the Board of Fire Engineers?
I don't. Not relevant. You're just identifying the special municipal.
It's all of them, plus it's in the appendix from
Right.
1963.
But that's something the fire department would illustrate on their own. Why are you guys taking that on?
Just because that question came up when we got the list.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I think that people have to just stop picking. This is when it was in 1963. And because somebody gave one position a hard time and made a big deal out of it, you've done all this work to make sure we have the correct information. And it's for all the positions.
I think it's for all roles, not specifically to highlight any one.
Well, the reason I started this is because the question was, it was the fire chief.
Yeah.
Is
was
the fire
incorrect.
chief a special municipal employee? Yes or no? And was the 2024 vote a ratification or was it a designation? And so that's a good question. Who are the municipal town employees? Special municipal employees. I have no idea. And I honestly thought the fire chief was when we appointed him as the fire chief in my first round of selectmen, because I had been told that in like 2015. And because the guy up the street was the fire chief, and he was also a town employee. Way back when, in the 80s. So then I went through minutes, finding the special municipal employees, and lo and behold, the town clerk's office did have this. They brought it up during that meeting.
You did.
So then the question still stood. Well, you look at this and you say, okay, cool. But what is the Board of Fire Engineers? Because if you look at all the 1963 dates, you can see, pardon me?
It's just a position.
I know, but then you should be doing that for every position on the list. Why are you just like the history? Every appendix should support every position.
Most of the positions are positions that we still have. Maybe not.
I think it's because it was questioned and such a big deal was made out of it for a very unfortunate situation.
So what is the Board of Fire Engineers?
It's that storybook. It's just whatever that.
All the appendixes tell.
So are the firefighters or are the firefighters not special municipal employees? Firefighters on call are, but what about the full-time firefighters? Are they special municipal employees? My vote is they are, if you know what the definition of Board of Fire Engineers is. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't know that, because here we have on-call per diem, but if you didn't know that, you would say that the firefighters are not special municipal employees if they're full-time firefighters.
They may not be based on this list.
But they would be because they were part of the Board of Fire Engineers. And that was designated in 1963.
Are all the police,
Yeah,
it says police department, police chief,
so go up to the
Police department.
police department.
police department,
So who's on the police department? Does that include the,
secretary,
yeah,
admin?
exactly, the admin? Or does it not?
I mean, this includes the fire chief secretary.
I know, but so for the purposes of this letter, I think it's here are all the roles. Reference attachment A. Here's the list that the town has. What's your goal here? Is your goal to specify the fire chief role, or is your goal to just illustrate to the town?
Both.
Then I think your draft letter, they are two different things. Because I think there are other employees in town wondering, are they a special municipal employee? And they may see this list and say, I can go do other things while being a special municipal employee. I'm eager to see that list go online. But I don't know if they're going to be able to use this letter when it specifically calls out a fire chief position.
Well, but it also specifies the list, not just the that, but also the that.
Just giving you what I would do.
They have a lot of things that were updated in 2024, I guess, to answer those questions. EMTs on call, paramedics on call, firefighters per diem, EMTs per diem, paramedics per diem, building commissioner, and the Board of Water Commissioners. So it looks to me like it's a list that could grow.
Certainly.
With just someone asking about it. If they've been left off the list, it should be. In my mind, it's everybody who works for the town is a municipal employee.
It's typically identified in a job description and based on hours. There are some nuances to it that.
So is that in the union documents as well?
Whether someone's a special municipal
Mhm.
employee? No.
But it can be called out in a non-union contract. Like your police chief is a special municipal employee, and I'll use Jay as an example because I know he teaches at an institution.
Yeah,
So that's his, a second
a
line.
lot of them have
Okay, so
other jobs.
scroll that down to police. So when was he designated as special municipal employee? Because I never designated him one. Police chief, 1998.
Moderator's
Yes.
on there.
Chief Marshal.
Twice, actually. The moderator was on there in 1963, and then scroll it down to the bottom, because I think he was added again.
He's on your letter.
He's on my letter, yeah, because he was named again, for whatever reason.
So is that like a thing in this town?
I have no idea.
You did a lot of work though on this.
I just wanted to know what
I
the
like the
board
history.
thought.
Yeah, the history of it's cool.
That's what I wanted to know.
And I think.
And it is, the fire chief is a member of the Board of Fire Engineers.
I agree with you. I read it.
Yeah.
So
And the town clerk was doing research. Has he done anything about this?
No,
Was over
no.
a month ago,
Yeah, last I checked in.
2 months ago,
They've been
maybe.
I
swamped
think
with a few other
this is
things.
more. Oh, they're swamped with public records requests, of course. I will entertain a motion.
There's only two of you, so Veronica would be making the motion.
Motion in.
You would be motioning, I move to approve the special municipal employee list as described to be posted. And
With a letter, a cover letter,
with all supporting documents within from SharePoint.
and the the supporting documents with a cover letter that can be dated today and agreed upon by the town administrator and Veronica, the author.
Well, that's gonna be a problem. It's not my motion. Sorry.
That's my motion. I will make that motion. That is my motion. Mr. Mann.
I can't second that motion, so I can retool that if
Do
you
you
want.
understand my motion?
I do. You wish to have the letter put on Townsend letterhead, all the documents would be compiled together as a single PDF and for it to be published online under the town, wherever it lives, whether it be on the town clerk's site, town administrator, or select
No,
board
it's on
site,
our side.
select board site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can be on Facebook too. Full document.
Good.
Agreed by the two of you. I appreciate both of you and both of your opinions, and I have full confidence that you're going to agree on something. For the
so
sake
we're
of the
gonna
community.
agree, not right now, we're gonna agree.
The two of you will agree of what the posting will be. And I believe you will do the best thing for the community. I have belief.
Who's signing the letter? The two of you out of session?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I don't sign from the town.
No, you do not.
Right.
No.
Okay, I will amend your motion. You should amend the motion to include you and I signing it.
Out of session.
Out of session.
Once we agree.
Once you agree.
All right.
And I'm putting full faith in both of you to make the right decision.
Cool.
Thank you.
Veronica Cal, I will second the amendment.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you for all your hard work.
Right.
Really, I appreciate it. Documents.
In honor of our agenda, if I may be a little quick for you on 6-1 town administrator updates.
Yes.
That's all you have left. I described the department head meeting earlier. Snow and ice, we're at $214,000 deficit. Annual town meeting high school location is confirmed. Thank you to a firefighter for a snowblower donation to the town. It's tremendous. The letter is on the file. I will email it all out to you so you have it. But I know in the honor of the snow falling and having folks here that have to get home and have long commutes, I won't go super far into that.
Can we send a thank you
We can.
to the
We can.
contributor?
We
Because
can.
that is very much appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tremendous. I'll write a little thank you note and run it by you, Chair Shipman. In honor of our long commutes, I may say, because it's only been a week since our last meeting, we have a meeting next week. I may say skip 6-2, 6-3, 6-4. In 6-5, I just need you guys to sign payroll, but it's the chair's call, so I don't.
Okay, I just wanted to make one quick announcement under liaison reports, and I won't ask the rest of you, but I want to say congratulations and welcome to the CPA committee who met last night with the training in the training session, which we had a joint meeting of. And I just want to tell everybody, if you haven't seen that, I don't even know if it's not recorded.
Yeah, there was some.
But I think Cindy might have been there. So if she has that online and you watch that, I think it's going to be some very exciting times for that committee. And I appreciate all of them volunteering for that. And also today we had our first new handbook given out to individual Yasmir Santiago, who is on the Disabilities Committee, and she is the first book that has gone out. So thank you to her as well. Our next meeting is March 10th and March 17th, and special meeting being on March 19th. And now I'll entertain a motion under 6.5.
How about I go to move to, sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session?
Veronica Kell, second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Sorry, Goodrich, aye?
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Under executive session 7.2. Now declare.
Sure. Executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 38, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting law may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares. AFSCME, Local 93, Clerical Union, Supervisors Union, Highway Water Union.
As chair, I so do declare Laura Schifrin. 7.3, we are deleting from tonight's meeting. There is no update. And
Do you need a second?
Seconded.
for the 7.2, okay?
What's
And
your
come
name?
through next
Valerie
one.
Goodrich.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's at 8:35 PM. The chair so declares.
Yeah.
We roll, I got the second. Roll call.
We will not return to regular
We
session.
will not be returning to regular session. Roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Sorry, Goodrich, aye?
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all very much for your patience.